deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition is more than a nutrition store. Tom here at Max Muscle. If you want to make changes to your overall health, lose weight, build muscle, or if you just want to feel better, stop by, talk to a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather can cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906.
The Oregon guard threatens a pass to his big man. Slam dunk.
Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or your quality of life.
I had excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw, a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. My doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
The physicians used highly focused, precise radiation beams to target the nerve. Game over for Mary's pain in just a few weeks. If you have severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist about Gamma Knife. Visit peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
Hi, this is Flint, Catering Director at Westaurant Catering. At Westaurant Catering, name the occasion. From rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions, business events, and holiday parties, to reunions, team celebrations, and more. Whatever the event, Westaurant Catering offers up tasty cuisine from all of its restaurants, including Mucho Gusto Mexican Kitchen, Bill and Tim's Barbecue, Dickie Joe's Burgers, and Dickie Yo's Frozen Treats. Got a last-minute event that's just days away or less? We specialize in catering last-minute events and meetings. You need to be able to rely on your caterer. With Westaurant Catering, you get experience and quality you can trust. Call me, Flint Livingston, today to find out how we can serve you. 541-954-6303. Again, 541-954-6303. Westaurant Catering, trusted in food and service.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock index futures are little changed as investors await more data for clues on the economy and the direction of monetary policy. But shares of Nike are lower in pre-market trading, down 5%. The company's annual forecast missed analyst estimates. On the other hand, Lumber Liquidators is higher before the opening bell. The company's shares rose 16% yesterday after it agreed to pay $2.5 million to the California Air Resources Board to end an inquiry about its laminate flooring products. Amazon says it is struggling to win big office supply contracts with companies. That statement undercuts a key argument Staples is making to defeat U.S. opposition to its planned takeover of Office Depot. An Amazon vice president made the remarks in federal court in Washington after being called to testify by the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC has sued Staples to block the merger, saying Staples and Office Depot dominate the corporate customer market. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Wayne County.
Basically, what we're doing is using our land use law. As you're running again, pay attention to all of your voters.
And the nation.
Holloway in London, the wake-up call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
6:29. There's a legion of folks getting up in about 20 seconds. Their alarm going off at 6:30. Remember when 6:30 was early?
Yeah.
6:30 would be sleeping in.
Yeah, I remember the time in my life that the only occasions that I saw 6:30 in the morning is when I was crawling out of the back of a cab.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about how they get up at 5 o'clock every morning to go exercise, do their run. I was thinking, man, that is it. It must have been 15 to 20 minutes into the conversation before I thought, wait, 5 o'clock?
That's sleeping in.
I get up at 3:30, and you get up even earlier than that.
Yep.
It's like you almost, maybe I think what happens is you kind of put it out of your rational mind, because when you kind of sit there and go, I'm getting up at 3:30, your body will just shut down. You're like, no, you're not. So you just kind of don't really focus or absorb it. 222, I was kind of confused because 222 is the highway, if I'm thinking correctly, that it goes through Cresswell. They're talking about 1 mile north of Cresswell, so it might be kind of an extension of the highway, not the highway, but like a service road. 14.38. We've got a crash affecting the southbound lanes there, and Cresswell, the metro that is going to be a little snarled. So taxis, trying to get a subway, any alternate route you might want to try to get going this morning.
By the way, I want to just throw a shout out coming up in a little bit of a tease in a couple of minutes. We're going to be talking to Stephen Yates. He is the former Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House, was there for 4 years, and we're going to be talking about, of course, the situation in Brussels yesterday and implications not only on Europe but also the United States. We figured that, that guy maybe has a take or two. I would say probably has more than a take or two.
KPNW, good morning.
Hey.
Hey, the 222 is Cameron Swell Road.
Okay.
The backside. Bye.
Cool, thank you.
All right. Now we know.
There you go. There's where your crash is. Okay, by the way, as we get ready to talk, I'm definitely going to bring that up for sure. I mean, anytime you have a former deputy to the White House, definitely bears
a certain amount of gravity.
A little bit of a tease. Your favorite food cart in town? Go.
Oh, God.
Is there a food cart?
You took me by surprise on that one. I'm sitting here going, which one? There was one, I can't remember the name of it, that served catfish that I really liked. And I haven't.
Are you talking about the old, and they might still be around. They turned into Elkhorn.
No, okay, that wasn't what it was called then.
No, but down on 8th Street, they had catfish and hush puppies.
Yeah, it was excellent. So it's gone?
See, the folks evolved and opened up Elkhorn.
So Tony's Barbecue. I'm surprised. I haven't eaten there for a while.
Highway 99?
It hops around. I don't know where it's at right now. It used to be down there kind of on Chambers, but it bops around.
We got into a discussion because Confusion Grill, who's kind of been a part of, they are awesome. I'd have to put them in a top list.
Mm-hmm.
Cart de Frisco.
Haven't been there.
Seriously? Mm-mm. Oh my God. They are.
Where are they?
One of the mainstays. I mean, they've been around. The one that I know is kind of always there is the one at campus, catty corner to the Oregon Bookstore.
Well, maybe you need to take me out
on 13th. It is okay. You don't do it on a first date situation because it gets a little all over you. But their sandwiches are still. I'd have to put that.
What brings
in the top
this up?
5. Well, I was kind of toying with. I don't think I even want to go public with it just yet. But I thought this would be a definite category with all the food carts out there and the love for. I mean, some of the best food I think served in the community.
Yeah.
Coming out of the food carts.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Pretty amazing. KPNW, good morning.
Good morning. Tony's is out on River Road, quite a ways out, just a little ways past Santa Clara, right by a fire station out there.
Okay, that's where they're at.
And he's got a little place right by a car wash, too. I think he just opened up.
Ooh, he's got a couple.
Ago.
You sound like you're a fan.
Yeah, I go out there a little bit for lunch. They got something with... get a sandwich that's got coleslaw on it.
Oh, no kidding.
That sounds good.
I think pulled pork with coleslaw, I think.
Yeah, I like their brisket sandwiches.
Awesome.
I'm a beef brisket fan, so... But yeah, you're right. I've tried the pulled pork, and they had a spicy... I think it was a spicy kielbasa barbecued sandwich that they did for a while, too. I don't know if they still do it. Do they still do that?
Yeah, well, my memory's so short, I can't remember what I had the last time, so.
Okay.
I understand.
Fair enough. Hey, we appreciate the call and the heads up on Tony's. You take care.
Okay, bye.
Anything with coleslaw, kind of, I won't say anything, but most that you get, pretty delicious.
They do pretty darn good job, and they're nice folks, too.
Tony
and his wife.
Tony and company. Are they from, like,
I don't know where they're from.
Part of the...
I know that he made, at least when he was out there on Chambers, I looked at his barbecue thing, which was kind of a homemade, cobbled together affair that was pretty darned impressive. It was pretty impressive. But his wife is an absolute sweetheart, really nice, and they're nice people. They're good people.
Last call, real quick. KPNW, good morning.
Hey, in Austin, Texas, they got spring roll carts.
Okay. Hey, thanks, man.
All right, we got a break. Stephen Yates joining us next on 1120 KPNW.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
Sherry's invented Free Pie Wednesday because, well, we love pie. Sweet Montana cherry, Oregon Marionberry made with Northwest fruit, chocolate cream supreme, sour cream lemon pie made with real whipped cream, s'mores galore, and many more. That's why we've won over 25 gold medals at the National Pie Championships. Enjoy a free slice of your favorite Sherry's pie with dinner tonight from 4 to 10 at Sherry's Cafe and Pies.
Hi, this is Bill London, and I can tell you from experience, dealing with a realtor can be a trying experience. Trying to sell my mom and dad's house recently, I would have liked to have had a realtor who up front would have told me not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. Like, for instance, that we really did need to put a new roof on the house. Otherwise, we were going to get beaten down on the price and some other things as well. Well, Eric Harpole is one of those realtors. He won't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear to get the most out of your house.
I think when you sit down with Eric or anybody from his team, it's quickly apparent. I mean, they're serious, they know real estate, and they're not into filling the air with things that aren't true. Whether you're buying or selling or even thinking about doing either of those two, call the Harpole team at 541-286-3030. It will be the most refreshing conversation you ever had with a realtor. The Harpole Real Estate Group is changing the way real estate gets done here locally. 541-286-3030.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Here's how it works, Mary. You tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades, and I'll use my powers of prognostication to predict your path. Still game?
I'm game.
While riding the train, do you A, relax in your seat, or B, visit the bistro car?
Relax in my seat.
Catch some Z's, or be productive?
Be productive.
Open a book or your laptop?
Laptop.
Email or blog?
Blog.
Okay, here goes. While blogging in your comfy leather chair, you're moved by the sweeping views of the mossy megalopolis that is Oregon. You start building tiny train terrariums with native moss and even make punny t-shirts like, don't forget to moss.
Wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah, it's a gift. Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're already out and about. We've got partly cloudy skies for the first time in the last few days, but we've got patchy, dense fog off and on as well. Now, temps right now are in the mid to low 40s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. I expect this fog to burn off by about 11 a.m., leading to a few hours of almost perfect weather with partly cloudy skies around lunchtime. But by this afternoon, highs will shoot into the mid to upper 50s, and we're already tracking the next storm system set to move in tonight. That means more and more cloud cover as we move through the afternoon, becoming mostly cloudy and showers as early as 8 p.m. Those showers will continue through the night into tomorrow morning. Now, after that, we'll see lingering energy for your Thursday and Friday before another major system moves in Saturday night into Sunday. So make sure you go out and enjoy these few hours of decent weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
We'll do it live.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
Well, yesterday the world stood transfixed in the aftermath of the terror bombings in Brussels. To discuss what happened yesterday and its implications not only on Europe but also the United States, we are proud to chat with Stephen Yates, former Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House between 2001 and 2005. He joins us on the Wake Up Call from Washington, D.C. Stephen, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
All right. Before we get into kind of the gist of the conversation, so what have you been up to since 2005?
Well, been up to several different things. Among them, after finishing up my time in government, I moved my family and my business to your neighboring state of Idaho and gotten a little bit more involved in politics there, aside from my business that is managing political risk around the world. Got involved in state party politics, and I'm the chairman of the Idaho Republican Party.
All right. Well, again, thanks for being with us this morning. So I guess the first question here is, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday as we were setting up the interview, we have a situation where we've had a number of these kind of terrorist attacks, in particular in Europe, in a very short amount of time, in France, now in Brussels. Is there something that makes Europe a much easier mark for these kind of terrorist attacks as opposed to the United States? And if so, what is it?
I think there are a few factors that make Europe more at risk. One is proximity, of course. They're closer to the Middle East, and so these migrants, some of which have literally walked from parts of war-torn areas of the Middle East into Europe before spreading around across the continent. The other is cultural, though. Migration flows into Europe have tended to be cantoned off into separate areas where there hasn't been a culture of assimilation in Europe. And what that has done operationally when it comes to counterterrorism, you end up with places like Germany, France, and Belgium, where you have people who are high-value targets, most wanted terrorists, who are able to hide in plain sight for many, many months before authorities can close in. And unfortunately, what they're doing is providing safe haven and an environment in which radicalization can happen and operational plans are executed.
Well, I think somebody that might be jaded would ask the question, it seems like that is somewhat the case in the United States as of the last 10 years. This idea of assimilation has been, I don't know, somewhat negated.
Yeah, I share some of that cynicism, skepticism, or jadedness in that I think that our culture has eroded in that regard. Americans are a very open, tolerant, welcoming culture. We are a mix of a lot of different peoples, cultures, histories. But when you come to the United States, it has for generations been the reality that you are an American first, and you kind of adopt the culture, history, and ethos of the country that you've chosen. That has eroded in our culture, and we have lost some of the necessary operational tools when it comes to migration, as well as homeland national security tools of surveillance. I mean, we have people who are not U.S. citizens coming as students or workers, overstaying visas. They are keeping somewhat separate. They're organizing online and in meeting facilities that most Americans have nothing to do with. And we are seeing attacks like San Bernardino, Boston, and others that are a result. Europe is just more vulnerable to it now. We have to be very careful that we don't become increasingly vulnerable to it ourselves.
All right. The president has said that he wants to bring Syrian refugees into the United States. In your estimation, based on your expertise, what kind of risk is this going to pose to us?
Well, to me, the threat doesn't come from the ethnicity of Syrians coming into the United States. It has to do with people who've been exposed to a violent political ideology in a war-torn part of the world. Whether they're coming from Syria and they are of whatever nationality, that should put them on a watch list at the very least, and maybe they shouldn't come at all. And so I think it really we have to have some clear profiling criterion by our government to screen the people that are coming to our country, and then those who do come after having been exposed to these kinds of ideologies and war zones, they need to be surveilled. That has been a debate that's unresolved in our country for much of the last decade about what's the right balance in doing this, what are the right kinds of tools to give law enforcement, intelligence, or what have you, and how do we do it while protecting the civil liberties of average Americans, which has to remain a very high priority. We've had some public debate about it in our campaigns, but this is incredibly important and has not been resolved.
Stephen Yates, former Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House between 2001 and 2005, joining us on the Wake Up Call. Then, Stephen, what do you think is, I mean, if you got to be king for a day, what do you think the right balance is?
Well, number one, we don't want a king for a day, not just a throwaway line. We don't have a fixed point of where this balance is. It's something that is going to evolve over time, but it's our democratic system where we are electing people to represent us, and they can cast a vote today under current circumstances. They can cast a different vote 5 years down the line when the circumstances may change in different ways. We have to enable those who are charged with keeping us safe to have the tools that they say they need, but then they need to be accountable to our Congress for oversight and to the voters who put Congress in place to exercise restraint or to give them more room to run when we deem necessary. I just don't think that in all of my political travels over the last few years, I think the overwhelming perception among the majority of Americans is they don't feel more safe now than they did in 2008. And so I think in this current environment, we have people who say they want tighter controls on migration flows. They want more surveillance of the people who are coming to this country who might have come from parts of the world that don't have our best interests at stake. These threats don't happen to come from a place like Japan or Korea or Indonesia necessarily. And we know that there are particular geographies and there are particular ideologies that people are getting exposed to that are the highest priority threat. We have to profile that.
Do you mentioned about authorities being accountable. Do you think that they are? Particularly with things like with the FISA courts and everything else, do you think they are accountable?
Well, FISA courts, I think they are accountable in important ways. Is it something that is without question? No. But I don't think that the FISA courts are really at the core of the most important issue for us. I mean, it's not the FISA courts that are keeping our national authorities from being willing to name what the character traits of this enemy are. What are the qualities of these attackers, whether they're in San Bernardino or Boston or Brussels or Paris or what have you, what are the common characteristics? We need to be able to name those, profile those, and guard against them. And I don't think that it's NSA and the FISA court that's standing in our way. I think it's political correctness and then a lack of professionalism in our national security apparatus to tell the truth to the public, but more importantly, empower them to go and protect us against this threat.
Stephen Yates is a former Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House, joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. One of the things that is coming out this morning is that, there was this fear for a while that Belgium would have an event like this happen because a number of Belgium citizens went to be essentially ISIS fighters and that they've been returning to Belgium. How is it that, these individuals would even be allowed, knowing that they had left to do this, how would they even be allowed to go back to their countries, knowing that ISIS is a terror organization and you just let them back in?
Exactly right. But this is not just a problem for Belgium. We've had a member of Congress try to put forward legislation saying that U.S. citizens who go and do the same thing are forsaking their U.S. citizenship in doing so. And I think there's some truth to that. When you go to the enemy, you are giving up your citizenship to a country that has, basically giving you that right to leave, but we don't owe you a right to come back and attack us. Europe has lived somewhat in a postmodern fantasy since the end of the Cold War, just thinking, well, they're going to be one unified bloc. They have extremely easy transportation among countries within the bloc. They are focused primarily on economics, not on these other things. They're not provoking anyone, et cetera, et cetera. But what we're learning, sadly, is that that war is not a decision that we make necessarily, that this enemy has declared war on us, on our way of life. And they will attack anyone, whether they're Belgians, the French, Americans, anyone. That is a tough reality for people to put their heads around if they were accustomed to believing that the problems of the world began with President Bush or were related only to the Iraq War, that this is a bigger problem, and it's harder for us to put these tools in place. And in free societies, we don't always feel comfortable, and we shouldn't feel comfortable trying to restrict access and trying to profile particular groups.
All right. Well, you've kind of led us into that, and that was sort of going to be my next question. And it had to do with our rights as American citizens, our God-given rights as American citizens. It seems as though the terrorists, those that wish to do us harm, manage to use our rights against us, claiming those rights as their own, and yet infiltrating and setting up networks. My question is, how do we go about preserving our rights, preserving our privacy, preserving our rights to free speech, conserving our Second Amendment rights, et cetera, when the terrorists use those rights against us, and then you have certain political parties or certain political entities that say we need to restrict those particular rights to protect ourselves?
Right. Well, I think that is the exact correct way of framing the challenge. I think it's a process rather than a step in terms of getting it right. I think you begin that process by being clear and honest about who are citizens and who are not citizens. And if you're not a citizen of the United States, you're not protected by the United States Constitution. You do not have these same rights. And that we have an obligation to those who are citizens of the United States to protect their security, and we should use every means at our disposal to surveil, deter, and disrupt anyone who's not a U.S. citizen, regardless of geography, in trying to do anything to impinge upon our rights and our security. And then second, I think it's incredibly important that we be serious about protecting those rights for ourselves. When it comes to the Second Amendment, it should be no mystery that these attackers have conspicuously gone to gun-free zones. Does that mean you put a gun in every location, it's automatically safe? Maybe not. But what difference it makes is the difference between a tragedy becoming a mass casualty travesty. And so if you have people who are exercising their rights of self-defense, they're trained, they're prepared, you have communities working together with law enforcement, you can minimize the impact of these kinds of events. You probably can't eliminate evil, you can't eliminate terror, but you can minimize its impact to change your way of life.
Stephen, we're almost out of time, but I know that in the position you were in, that a lot of smart people sit there and try to extrapolate based on current circumstances what could happen or what will happen a year, 2 years, 5 years, 6 years down the line. If you were to look at the situation today and the way that we're going in terms of this, I don't know that I would go so far as to call it a war on terrorism as much as it is sort of this global clash of ideologies, where do you think this is going to go in the next 5 to 6 years? How much worse do you think it may get?
Well, I think with trends unchanged, it gets more violent, its geographical reach gets more vast. And so I think that the United States, Europe, and our major allies, we have to have a course correction if this is going to have a chance of changing. Our presidential election cycle is going to give us a new leader of the United States of whatever flavor. Of course, being a partisan, I hope it is a Republican. But regardless of who it is, we're going to have to change course. And when you look at this in the biggest picture sense, this isn't our war on terrorism. This is the Islamists' war on civilization. And until we begin to understand that they've already declared war, they're a movement, they're an ideology masquerading as a religion, it's a violent movement, it's not just someone's right to believe in a certain way, we're going to have to get serious about that and put tools in place. We've spent the last decade pretending as if our challenge was one small geography in the Middle East. If we got that right, everything else would be okay. And the terrorists were telling us now that we were wrong.
Stephen, we'd love to have you back on the show if that's okay.
Would love to be back. Thank you for having me today.
All right. Thank you so much. Stephen Yates, former Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House, on the Wake Up Call at 6:56. All right. So, there are things in life that bring us joy, whether it be a good meal or our kids playing in the backyard or a good night's sleep. If the latter is something right now that's on your mind because maybe you didn't get a good night's sleep, head on into Sleep Country Sleep Train. Sleep Train, of course, located all over the area in Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield, set up to make sure that they have everything you need to get the proper night's Z's in a way that's going to leave you feeling refreshed the next morning.
Check it out. Three choices, the triple choice sale going on right now. Number one, at any Sleep Train location, you can go for the $300. Save up to $300 on Beauty Rest Posturepedic mattress sets, or if you want to do this option, up to you, $300 in free gifts from any Tempur-Pedic. We're talking about premium sheets or pillows. You can go that route, or how about no money, no interest for up to 4 years on Beauty Rest Black Hybrid, a Sleep Train luxury exclusive. On approved credit with up to 48 equal monthly payments required. There's one near you in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell me like this with a wake-up call. It really is your ticket to a better night's sleep. Sleep Train.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers more than 100 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 100 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. U.S. stocks are slipping in early trading as crude oil declines this morning. Right now, the Dow is down 33 points at 17,549. The S&P 500 is lower by almost 4 points, or nearly 0.2% at 2046. And the Nasdaq is down 5 at 48.15. Crude is lower by 1.6% at $40.77 a barrel. Stocks may be losing momentum after a 5-week rally erased the worst start to a year ever. The S&P 500 has rebounded 12% from a 22-month low last month. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve policymakers continue to stress that their rate decisions depend on progress in the data. James Bullard, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, says there may be a case to be made for an April Fed move.
You could argue about global risk. You could argue GDP growth outlook is maybe a little bit lower, maybe. But you get another strong jobs reports. Looks like labor markets are improving.
Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They were brothers who blew themselves up in Brussels. One at a subway station. The other was one of two suicide attackers at the airport, from where a picture from a surveillance cam is still being studied.
The second suicide bomber in the picture has not been identified yet. The third suspect wearing a hat and a jacket is on the run.
That's Belgian prosecutor Frederick Van Leeuw. Fox's Jessica Gallagher is live in Brussels.
Dave, mourners gathering a short walk from here to pay their respects to at least 31 people who lost their lives on Tuesday due to 3 separate bombings. More than 200 people have been wounded, including Americans. A brother and sister remain missing since the blast. Young and old continue laying flowers and lighting candles at the Place de la Bourse. Some were seen crying as they paid their respects with a moment of silence. Brussels International Airport remains closed until at least tomorrow night local time. 2 main train stations in Brussels reopened at 4 p.m. local time Tuesday to restricted traffic. Only 14 of the capital's metro stations are open. Dave.
Jessica, Donald Trump's magic number is now less than 500 delegates after winning another Republican primary. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Phoenix.
Dave, Donald Trump tweeted that his win in Arizona was much bigger than expected. It was winner take all here, and he got all 58 delegates. But Ted Cruz won all of Utah's 40 delegates. He said that they were hoping for a victory. They had a landslide. He believes they're seeing Republicans unite behind their campaign now. And he also noted that this morning Jeb Bush endorsed the campaign. Also in Arizona, Hillary Clinton won, but Bernie Sanders said more wins for him are ahead after winning both of Idaho's and Utah's caucuses, Dave.
Well, Jessica, the Supreme Court is about to this morning hear another Obamacare challenge. This is to the law's contraception coverage mandate. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
How do you improve upon a legend? First, you make it come standard with sports seats to put you in position to carve every corner. You give it an 8-speed Steptronic transmission with paddle shifters, standard. And you make it near perfectly balanced to give you even more control of the road. But if you want to know how to catch up to a legend, sorry, can't help. The new BMW 3 Series. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Financing and leasing available by BMW Financial Services. Visit BMW of Eugene. Also online at bmwofeugene.com.
Gunrunner Arms in Junction City is all about safety, the safe use of firearms, and the safe storage of your firearms. Gunrunner Arms is the Valley's exclusive Liberty Safe dealer. Liberty Safes are American-made in sizes that'll fit under a car seat to near vaults that'll store 50 guns or more and protect them from the hottest fire. This April, stop by Gunrunner Arms for great sale prices, and if you donate 5 cans of food to Junction City Local Aid when you stop by, you'll save an additional 5%. I'm Bill London, and I like Gunrunner Arms because they care about their community and their customers. At the intersection of Highway 99 and 36 in Junction City.
Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
And we're waiting in this wait-and-see mode on Thursday and Friday. We have durable goods and gross domestic product coming out, and so there is somewhat of a wait-and-see mode. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 32 points at 17,550. The Nasdaq down 21. S&P down 6. Most stocks are lower. Energy and materials coming under pressure. Nike, Chevron, and Caterpillar weighing on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Nike had lower than expected third quarter revenue. That's been down about 4% throughout the day. Let me check it right this second, give you a most up-to-date quote. Down 4.2%, and it's dragging on Under Armour and Lululemon as well. Chipotle, a winner in the S&P. Back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil is down about $1, close to $40 a barrel again. Gas, though, is a penny pricier. Now AAA's national average for regular is a fraction under $2 a gallon. This will be a big deal at the New Orleans Superdome today. The government will announce what companies won bids for oil and gas exploration leases in the Gulf of Mexico. About 45 million acres are available. But there are protesters outside. Environmentalists and from industry groups say the leases produce jobs and help the economy. Teresa Giudice has already done her time now. It's the reality TV star's husband's turn.
The husband of one of New Jersey's Real Housewives is heading to prison. His attorney said the reality star and husband began serving a 41-month sentence for bankruptcy fraud today. The Bravo star talked with Andy Cohen about how this has affected him.
I wouldn't say it made me a better man. It just made me, step up to the plate and do things I didn't have to do it for, as far as taking care of the girls.
Teresa finished her 15-month sentence in December. The two pleaded guilty in 2014 and admitted they hid assets from bankruptcy creditors and submitted phony loan applications to get $5 million in mortgages and construction loans. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
He'll serve his time at Fort Dix's federal prison in New Jersey. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
720 KPNW. Hour number 2, Wednesday, hump day. Partly cloudy. You heard Chris Nation talking about some potential sun today. A little overcast afternoon, but overall, mild day. 59 for the high. Clouds and light rain coming in tonight. Overnight dip down to 45. I see the forecast tomorrow. We got some basketball and some ice cream. It's going to be a busy Thursday. People are going to be tuckered out. Like I said, you might want to take Friday off. Do a little 3-day weekend. But tomorrow, a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, I suggest you come on down to Sam's Place on Franklin in Eugene. You can check out the game there. And, of course, it's going to be a Thirsty Thursday where we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. We've got tickets for instance, James Taylor, The Cure, also Dead and Company, which is, the remainder of the Grateful Dead. We'll be blowing those out. We had just a huge bag full of swag. Widmer, of course, all behind this. So we're going to be, there's going to be a little beer tasting going on, and I'm sure watching a little bit of a game. I think there's some game that's going to be played tomorrow, some basketball game that people think is important.
Sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, come on out and join us for Thirsty Thursday. Also, tomorrow, about 12:30, we're going to be delivering ice cream to some lucky local business in the Eugene-Springfield area. If you haven't, gotten your biz into it, we deliver once a month ice cream from Umpqua, where the flavor of the month, by the way, is pistachio almond. Tasty stuff. Anyway, if you'd like us to bring ice cream to your crew, all you have to do is email us 1120kpnw@gmail.com. That's 1120kpnw@gmail.com. Just put on the subject line, bring us ice cream or Umpqua ice cream or just something that denotes ice cream. Make sure you got your name, make sure your phone number is on there, and we'll bring enough for at least 15 people. All right? So just keep that in mind. If you have an office of 40 people, well, some people are going to go away sad and crying. Which, I don't know, you may appreciate in some
I know you would.
In some sort of sick, perverse way. So
coming up, Lisa Wheel, 727 for her Wednesday visit. Also, just a reminder, if you are going to be kind of in and around now they've got it somewhat a little bit more accurate. 222, 1 mile north of Cresswell, we got the southbound lane and the median affected with the crash. Still trying to get that rectified. Everything else seems to be moving well. If you see the contrary, let us know. We'll pass it on. News in minutes.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up. 24 hours now, a day, the Lane County Sheriff back to 24-hour patrols. We'll take a look at a mystery dealing with a woman who is having a funeral on April 2nd and a body that was found a month ago that we're just finding out about from the Lane County Sheriff's Office. Are they connected? We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at some employment numbers and a bunch of boat wrecks. Those stories and more are brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
News time 7:08.
I'm aboard Amtrak Cascades from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens.
Hi, I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and here's a true food story. One day after the wake-up call, one of our staff members walked into the studio, fully admitting she had not visited Burrito Amigos and had ordered a beef breakfast burrito without a tortilla in a bowl. The phrase, "What is this stuff?" in a continuous chorus ensued. The consensus was that whatever was supposed to be in that burrito looked more like something pulled out of a clogged garbage disposal. Now, we could only identify egg. We think. We took pictures. Then another employee pointed out, with Burrito Amigos, when you bite into or open up a burrito, you can actually identify all the ingredients by sight. The Angus beef in the Machaca burrito looks like beef. The bacon is easily identifiable in the bacon burritos, along with the eggs and potatoes and peppers and everything else. Burrito Amigos serves real food that you can identify by sight and enjoy. Food should not be scary. It should be real, like at Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones in Eugene and Springfield.
Hurry into SM Gun Shop for March savings. 40 caliber handguns, 10% off. All other guns are $20 off. Reloading powder just in from Hodgdon, IMR, Winchester, and Alliance, so stock up now. SM Gun Shop, Lane County's most established gun store on River Road in Eugene.
It's the grand opening celebration at Brad's Car Tunes in Springfield. This Saturday from 9 till 6. Specials include a JVC Bluetooth head unit for $138. 6-inch JVC speakers for $38 a pair. Get an extra $10 off these items at Brad's new location in Springfield. Grand opening savings at both Brad's Cartoons this Saturday, 7th and Blair, and now at 38th and Main in Springfield. Stay tuned.
News, information 24/7 on News Radio 1120 KPNW. Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, there were 2 University of Oregon students studying abroad in Belgium, and as of yesterday, they have been accounted for and are safe after a terror attack that killed at least 34 people and injured dozens more. The company Global Education Oregon helps students find opportunities to study abroad, and they said in a statement that they have been working hard to make sure all of their students overseas were safe. One student studying in Brussels was found to be all right. Another student studying in London but traveling in Belgium was also accounted for and was fine. They say they're in the process of confirming the safety of other students in their many programs elsewhere in Europe, some of whom may have been traveling during the spring break. OSU says, according to their records, they do not have any students currently in Belgium. Now, also in the aftermath of the bombings yesterday, Eugene airport officials say they're exercising heightened vigilance. And that's the case with many airports all around the country. The Port of Portland police say they have heightened security, and they're looking for anything suspicious. And understandably, that means that you, as a traveler, if you're going to or through an airport, are going to have to plan for more time as heightened security reigns. Lane County law enforcement is remaining mum on a body found early last month in the Wolf Creek Road area. The sheriff's office and DA's office only announced yesterday that they had found skeletonized human remains in early February, which were turned over to the state medical examiner's office, and that they believe the death was a homicide. Now, the release of that sketchy information yesterday happens to coincide with the funeral notice of Courtney Bundy of Springfield. Bundy, the mother of 2, disappeared in July. Her funeral was supposed to have happened, or is supposed to happen, April 2nd, according to her sister Desiree Dixon. Dixon on social media claims she was told by investigators not to say how or when Bundy's body was recovered, although she claims her sister was murdered. KPNW contacted the Lane County Sheriff's Office to ask about the possible connection. They, in turn, passed us on to the DA's office, who in turn has not returned our calls. Lane County's employment numbers have remained mostly static for the month. The February seasonally adjusted unemployment rate is holding steady at 5%.
Private education and health services has added the most over the year at 1,200. Professional and business services is up 900. Retail trade is up 900, and manufacturing is up 500.
Regional employment economist Brian Rooney says there's some sectors that are experiencing job losses.
Information is down. There was that includes print publishing.
The losses are a concern as the internet is pushing publishers out of business. The overall outlook, despite the losses, is actually fairly positive.
Right now, we're seeing strong employment growth. The over-the-year employment growth rate is 3.1%.
They expect the employment rate to remain pretty much where it is for the next few months. The Lane County Sheriff's Office has completed their training process and now are providing enough deputies to restore 24-hour patrols.
Covering the gap that hasn't been covered. So those 4 to 6 hours a day that have nobody on duty, those gaps will now go away because instead of running 2 shifts, we'll run 3 shifts. There's still 3 deputies a shift, 3.5 on average, that are on duty at any given time in Lane County for patrol response.
Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp claims the typical response times will improve, although a number isn't available. Trapp points out the alternative just wasn't working very well.
But when you have all your deputies home sleeping, then they've got to get woke up and get their boots on and get out to their patrol cars and drive across the county to wherever that call may be. it adds a significant delay that sometimes is not survivable.
Funding for the 24-hour patrol was made possible by the Lane County Board of Commissioners juggling funds. A federal judge in Eugene rejected two environmental groups' request for a speedy court order dramatically changing Deschutes river flow management before this spring's irrigation season, ruling that they'd failed to prove such a move is needed to protect a threatened frog species. U.S. District Judge Ann Aiken said the Center for Biological Diversity and Water Watch of Oregon had failed to show a preliminary injunction was justified to protect the so-called threatened Oregon spotted frog. The federal agency and irrigation districts rejected the claim, saying the frogs have adapted to the river's current conditions and that a sudden change would pretty much kill them all off. Well, the deadline's been extended to apply for positions on one of the City of Eugene's many advisory boards. As a board member, you could be a part of budget decisions, decisions on how many police are patrolling the streets, and even have a voice when it comes to planning the future of the City of Eugene. The time commitment, of course, varies.
The Budget Committee meets rather intensely in May and probably June. The Civilian Review Board probably meets monthly. I don't know that for a fact. Human Rights Commission, if you get on one of their subcommittees, they might meet several times a month. So it's real specific to each group.
Chris Block, the council support coordinator, says there are benefits to holding one of the unpaid positions.
They are helping shape the community, I would think. Extremely valuable in their volunteer work and helping make decisions that they're policy advisory to the city council. So, they're kind of providing assistance to our top elected officials.
If you want more information, you can contact the city manager's office. A huge grain ship that's grounded in the Columbia River east of Astoria is badly damaged. Brad Ford has details.
The 623-foot Sparna grounded on Sunday near Clatskanie with a river pilot on board. Coast Guard Petty Officer Levi Reed says they now know the extent of the damage.
The damage assessment found significant damage to the hull of the vessel.
There are several cracks in the steel.
The biggest being 25 by 5 feet long with a boulder wedged inside that hole.
An incident response team remains on scene. So far, none of the more than 250,000 gallons of oil on board has leaked. The ship is carrying grain. It'll be moved to the port of Longview on Wednesday. Brad Ford, KPNW.
The front half of a boat, less than 20 feet long, is washed up on the southern Oregon coast, a little north of Coos Bay. Chris Havel with the Oregon State Parks Department says biologists are now testing samples of marine life found with the boat, trying to figure out whether there's a risk of invasive species and hopefully determine the boat's origin.
We all suspect it's tsunami debris from the March 2011 tsunami that struck Japan, but the plants and animals that are attached really help the biologists zero in on where it actually came from.
A salvage company will remove the boat. They'll recycle anything that can be reused, and the rest is going to go to a landfill. Well, a federal judge in Portland is allowing U.S. Marshals to transport Ahmed Bundy and 5 others to Nevada for a court hearing related to an armed standoff against government agents in 2014. The men have been jailed in Portland since January for their roles in the 41-day standoff with government authorities at an Oregon wildlife refuge. They wanted public lands relinquished to local control. Defense attorneys contend their clients shouldn't be transferred until the Oregon case is over because doing so would violate their right to a speedy trial and effective counsel. U.S. District Judge Anna Brown ordered the defendants to be flown to Nevada on April 13th and returned to Oregon within 10 days. Their Nevada arraignments are likely to take place April 14th or 15th. Researchers at Oregon Health Sciences University are challenging the convention that tetanus and diphtheria vaccination boosters need to be taken every 10 years. Brad Ford says OHSU found tetanus shots are not needed as often for adults.
Since the 1960s, we've been told to get our booster shot every 10 years. Mark Slifka with OHSU says that's been based mainly on tradition, not science.
And really fill this knowledge gap by asking the question, how often should we vaccinate? Every 10 years, or should it be more often or less often?
Slifka says they found over 97% of Americans have protected levels of immunity for both tetanus and diphtheria, and our immunity maintained for decades.
We can maintain protective immunity even if we change the vaccination schedule from once every 10 years to once every 30 years with no loss in protection.
Even if you can't remember when you got your last shot, Slifka says they're looking to change the vaccination schedule to make it based on your age instead of time. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Oregon-based Deschutes Brewery is making Virginia home to its East Coast operations. The governor there, Terry McAuliffe, announced that the craft brewing company is going to invest $85 million to build a facility in Roanoke that's expected to create about 100 jobs there. Virginia officials have been working for months to woo Deschutes, which also considered cities in North and South Carolina for their East Coast operations. Deschutes' announcement is a big win for Roanoke, which lost out to the Asheville area for Sierra Nevada Brewing Company's East Coast Brewery in 2012. It also comes less than 2 years after California-based Stone Brewing Company, which makes an awesome Imperial Stout, revealed plans to build a facility in Richmond. A trade group says Deschutes was among the top 10 craft brewing companies in the country in 2014 based on sales volume. And finally this morning, a training class on human trafficking in West Lynn turned into a real-life bust for a man who thought he was meeting a woman for sex. Brad Ford reports.
As part of the training class, they posted an ad for an escort online, and the phone started ringing.
There were 16 phone calls just during the class alone.
Sergeant Mike Francis says they'd normally conduct this type of operation at another location, but the class was at the police station.
We just gave him the address and description of how to get to the police department. Of course, we didn't tell him it was the police department. Came right to our door.
An officer was waiting outside and arrested 19-year-old Renee Cruz Mesa on a charge of prostitution. Francis says human trafficking is a violent crime.
Taking these girls and victimizing them.
The average age of the girls forced into prostitution is 13. Sex trafficking is the second most lucrative commodity next to illegal drug sales. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
KPNW News Time is 7:21. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Live and local news continues next with Sports and Rob here on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
So several weeks before the first Oregon football game in September, thousands will visit Autzen Stadium for an international soccer match between FC International and Paris Saint-Germain of France. It's one of the international cup games around the country and will take place July 24th, 2 p.m. That's not going to be hot. Other cities with planned matches, San Francisco, Chicago, and L.A., they'll have to add to the football surface to come up with the needed 105 by 68 meters. The pitch, an American football field, if you remember, is 109.7 by 49 meters. Tickets will go on sale April 5th. If you go to the International Cup website, you can bypass that by getting pre-sale access starting March 29th. Oregon baseball team beat Seattle on the road 6-4. Tomorrow they start a 3-game series with the Huskies. Number 3, Oregon State played Portland last night, racked up 14 hits. They won 13-6. OSU pitcher Scotland Church came on to earn his first save of the year. Oregon track and field sophomore Devin Allen named the Men Track Athlete of the Week after clocking 20.79 in the 200 meters. That's 6th all-time in the Oregon record books. He also won his traditional category, 110 hurdles. Duck Annie LeBlanc was named the Women's Track Athlete of the Week after winning the 800 and the 1500 for 2.4.38, and the 800, the fastest outdoor time in the NC2A so far. And Cody Danielson awarded the Field Athlete of the Week after he won the javelin by 40 feet, uncorking a heave of 251 feet, 9 inches. It's a pretty good heave. Offense, the word in local prep softball. Elmira scored 31 runs in 2 games, winning their game with South Umpqua yesterday, 20-4. Meanwhile, the Shelton baseball team on the road in Phoenix, Arizona at the Coach Bob Invitational and came up short against Chaparral, 12-7. Wake Up Call Sports, live and local, brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority in nutrition since 1991. Across Franklin from Market of Choice in Eugene, news time, 7:23.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, you're already out and about. We've got partly cloudy skies for the first time in the last few days, but we've got patchy dense fog off and on as well. Now, temps right now are in the mid to low 40s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. I expect this fog to burn off by about 11 a.m., leading to a few hours of almost perfect weather with partly cloudy skies around lunchtime. But by this afternoon, highs will shoot into the mid to upper 50s, and we're already tracking the next storm system set to move in tonight. That means more and more cloud cover as we move through the the afternoon, becoming mostly cloudy and showers as early as 8 p.m. Those showers will continue through the night into tomorrow morning. Now, after that, we'll see lingering energy for your Thursday and Friday before another major system moves in Saturday night into Sunday. So make sure you go out and enjoy these few hours of decent weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. In some previous minutes, I've tried to raise your thinking level about some important words in our vocabulary. And someone once stated that the thing to try when all else fails is again. Again is one of the important words we need to pay closer attention to. If it doesn't work the first time, try it again. For sure, we can learn something from the first try, and it makes trying again much smarter than the previous time. When it works, we can look at the word again and even repronounce it just like it's spelled, again. Moving forward, again. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
Having trouble with those last few pounds? Or maybe you just need a boost of energy. Get to Max Muscle for Emerge. The taste is awesome, there's tons of flavors, and it's buy one, get one half off during the month of March. It's only at Max Muscle, 2001 Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
This is a heavy dose of hard-hitting wake-up call. This is the wake-up call.
For one thing, thank you so much.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call.
Yeah, I love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Hey, look, it's Wednesday, and it's time once again for a visit from none other than Fox News legal analyst and author extraordinaire, Lise Wheel, on the wake-up call. Hey, Lise.
Hey, how are you guys doing out there?
We're doing fine. So have you had a couple of mimosas to kind of get yourself in the mood?
Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? It's no, it's sort of sad out here because, you know, you got to realize on my mom's side, my dad's side, well, all my sides out there in Yakima, but on my mom's side, it's out in Denmark, and it's really sort of sad now in Brussels and Europe, and it's just really sad.
Okay. Well, let's. You changed the subject on me there real quickly.
Okay, we'll go to Hulk and we'll go to.
No. I was just asking if you'd had a mimosa and we're into Brussels. All right, let's talk about Brussels.
No, mimosa sounds nice, but it's only it's only 10:27 out here, so.
And like that stops you, right?
Well, that could be good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what are, if any, of the legal ramifications here in the U.S. regarding what happened in Brussels?
Well, it's a tons. I mean, depends on American citizens. Are they hurt? Are they injured or worse?
We know Brussels has no death penalty, so we can't pull that over. We can't bring that over here. I think right now the biggest thing is that a guy with the white outfit with a black shirt. He's still alive. He's captured? What intel do we have on him? Is there anything going on that information he could give us over here? We've still got the San Bernardino, horrible terrorist attacks down in California. Is there any tie-in? Maybe not. Maybe there's nothing. But we've got to get that guy, get him fast, get some information. Maybe there's no tie-in. Maybe nothing. Maybe these guys are such different sects they don't even SECTs. We have no idea that there's no tie-in, but gosh, you got to get them fast and find out if there's any information at all.
Okay, so one of the things that's coming out this morning is that authorities have worried about something like this happening in Belgium for a long time.
Long time, exactly.
And part of that is because a lot of Belgian citizens have been going over to the Middle East to actually join ISIS and fight with ISIS there, and then they have been returning. We know that we've had American citizens.
I was going to say, by the way, that's happened here as well.
Okay, and so, the question here is, when they come back, are you still there? We're having really weird phone issues. So the question here is, what are, the legal protections when somebody goes over, they're fighting for obviously an enemy army, or in this case, a terrorist group, and they decide, oh yeah, I'm going to come back to the United States now that I've been fighting for this group that thinks America is the great Satan and wants to destroy us.
Well, you say obviously. It's not so obvious. I mean, in this country, yes, it's obvious. We can grab them and bring them back. We've had numerous arrests when we could say, look, you're fighting for terrorists, and we can bring them back and say we can hold them on trial or at least arrest them and say, no, you're not coming back, or you are coming back. We're going to hold you, arrest you, and bring them back on those arrests. But when you go back to a foreign country, you're working with international law, which I researched my head off till wee hours last night. Then it's more difficult. Then you're working with international tribunals, international treaties. It's much more difficult.
Well, so what is that international legal standard then? Or is there anything that's even clear?
It depends on the country. And that's why, like I said, that's why I'm working so hard, because it depends on the country and the treaty. You can say, oh, just go to NATO, go to The Hague, but it's nuanced with every country. Canada is different from Mexico, for example. Belgium is different from Denmark. It's very nuanced with every country. And you've got to be careful and not to step on anyone's toes. So they've got to be very nuanced.
What do you think the outcome then, what would the outcome be if they actually managed to catch this third guy, knowing that you have to be nuanced when dealing with some sort of world court? Would this individual even be tried in a world court, or would they simply be tried in a Belgium court?
I think one step and two step. I think one step, I would think, now I'm speculating completely because it's only happened this morning. I would think the Belgium court would want to take ownership, right, of this guy. I mean, if he murdered Belgian citizens right there, assuming this is the guy, wouldn't they want to take ownership? Wouldn't you want to, as the country of your citizens, wouldn't you want to just grab that guy?
Of course.
Right. Like a state, and then say, okay, we'll prosecute him here, and then you guys take him federally, meaning the federal court, the international court, take him later?
So tried in two courts on the same crime, who would have then actually legal precedent as far as punishment?
Well, both only have non-death penalties, so you're kind of at the same level.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm grasping at straws here to try to figure out how to get him back here, but I don't think you do. I don't think you do unless in a civil lawsuit. I'm really working with it here. Unless you get him back here but civil lawsuit, nah, you don't get death penalty in a civil lawsuit. Legalese.
If only that were the case.
Legal, can you figure this legally?
If we can only get a death penalty in a civil case, because I have this neighbor that throws garbage in my lawn, and man, I'd like to end it.
I know, but you can't. There's no civil. No, you can't do it.
All right.
So no. Even if you go to The Hague, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, you can't do it.
I love it. A civil lawsuit in The Hague. Anyway, Lise, I appreciate you joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. You have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next week.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye. It's I think there were mimosas there. I'm thinking mimosas.
That's 2 weeks in a row. They've been kind of a little bit different.
I'm thinking mimosas.
Have you felt that too?
I'm feeling mimosas. I'm thinking
this week and last week was
about 5 or 6 mimosas. Yeah. I think she's not telling us that it's a mimosa morning.
Maybe she needs to have one.
It's another mimosa morning.
Don't sing, please.
This is the guy that always says, "Come on, sing, Bill, sing it for us, Bill. Come on, Bill."
Changed my mind.
And then when I do, what does he do?
All right, 7:35. Former Duck and now a head coach in college basketball, Luke Jackson. Next up on the Wake Up Call, KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Analysts don't see the Brussels attacks necessarily driving today's trading after the muted response yesterday, but stocks are slipping right now. The Dow down 48 points, the Nasdaq down 28, and the S&P down 7. New home sales rose last month for the fourth time in 5 months to 512,000 as demand snapped back in the western U.S., and the Commerce Department says January's rate was stronger than previously reported. Fallen arches at Nike. Sales growth didn't come in where investors pegged it, falling a little below the 10% mark. Nike figures overseas sales could be hurt by the dollar, and analysts think it may be hearing Under Armour's footsteps. The convoy is getting bigger financially. The company, touted as an Uber for trucks, says it's getting millions from investors so it can expand. Former Amazon executives started the company to set up day truckers with clients who need things shipped. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Built for business. In business, time is money. In business, money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money.
Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet at an additional monthly charge. Equipment taxes and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
The International Champions Cup is coming this summer. Experience world-class soccer when French champions Paris Saint-Germain take on Inter Milan in a clash of 2 of the top teams in Europe. July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get tickets early by signing up for the exclusive pre-sale at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss this chance to see the best soccer players in the world. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan, July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get tickets before the general public by signing up at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss it.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference.
Not $1 billion, but I do want to be able to save for the future. So this year I partnered with TIAA to help me map out what I should be doing. Together, we came up with a personalized plan for my finances. And now it seems like a life of rewarding work just might pay off for a lifetime.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
How long would you wait for your shower to get hot? How long would you wait for your cell phone to fully charge? How long would you wait to get relief from your nasal congestion? If you're congested now and you want powerful relief now, use Afrin No Drip. Afrin starts working in seconds and keeps working for 12 hours. So, why wait? When you can start to get relief in seconds with Afrin. Afrin, powerful congestion relief without the wait. Use as directed. For more information, go to Afrin.com.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out the door in the next few minutes, we've actually got partly cloudy skies out there, but there's a catch. We've got patchy dense fog off and on as well. Now, I expect that fog to burn off by about 11 a.m. Otherwise, temps right now are in the mid to low 40s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. Now, this afternoon, we'll see these partly cloudy skies becoming mostly cloudy as the next storm system's already setting to move in. We could see showers as early as 8 p.m. Otherwise, highs look to be in the mid to upper 50s. Winds will pick up in the afternoon out of the southwest at 10 to 15 with a few gusts up to 20. And we will see showers off and on throughout the night into tomorrow morning with lingering energy over the next couple of days and another major storm system Saturday night into Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW, 741, 19 away from 8 o'clock. Hoping to connect up with Luke Jackson. My fear is that he is, after the season, I mean, think about the tolls, the responsibilities of being a coach and having to get up early and either look at your team or look at another team. And when it's over, you're just, you're done. And then some radio station is like, well, we want to talk. We want to talk about it. Yeah, probably on his fourth dream. Or maybe he's running out there, Spencer Butte, doing some laps. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully connecting up with the ex-Duck and the head coach, UNC Beacons, Luke Jackson. Talk about his season and maybe kind of talk a little Duck Duke. The Ducks taking on the Dukies tomorrow, 7:07 in the Sweet 16, trying to get to the Elite Eight, which he's got experience because he did it back in 2002.
Think that's him?
Go ahead. Lunch, cafeteria, menu, something?
Yeah. One of the things, by the way, since we're talking about the game tomorrow night, don't forget that we're going to be doing a Thirsty Thursday out at Sam's Place on Franklin Boulevard. So if, you want to get yourself kind of in the mood for the game, which, as Rob said, starts at 7:05, you come on out there. You have a couple of adult beverages and a little tasting courtesy of Widmer. Enjoy some brews, win some stuff, and then get ready for the game and then watch it there. That's what I'm thinking you do. So you come out and see us. Well, me. I don't know that Rob's going to be there. But if he is, you'll get to see us together. See, a lot of people think we're the same person because they've never seen us together.
You and who?
You and me.
Oh,
yeah. Think that we're the same. They think that we're the same person.
Said nobody ever.
No, they say that all the time. They're always confusing us.
Well, yeah.
So they think we're the same person because they've never seen us in the same place at the same time. Like, for instance, they look at the stream and they go, no, the guy in the baseball cap, he's animatronic. You can tell. Because sometimes even the camera screws up and he just gets locked in one position. So it's just, he's animatronic. It's the same guy.
Can we just maybe have you, doodle out a caricature so we don't have to worry about... Because, it freezes on a regular basis, and sometimes I look even more goofy than I look goofy.
Well, we're both kind of freakish.
That's true.
So, anyway, that said. So now we've been thinking that Luke is going to call in. And do we have Luke on the phone?
Luke Jackson, everybody.
Yay!
Morning, Luke. Hello?
Hey, Luke. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. By the way, this is student-run radio. We made all this equipment ourselves. It's just a homebrew thing. We're in a garage.
Fantastic.
Well, okay, just to get everybody, because we've already had people calling to add addendums to your resume. Luke Jackson from Cresswell, of course, Coach Luke Jackson. Also played for Cresswell, bringing them a state title back in 2000. Took the Ducks to the Elite Eight in 2002. An All-American, and this is interesting, top 10 of 9 stat categories. He's second in all-time points there with the Oregon Ducks. And, of course, now head coach with UNC, the Beacon. Somebody was calling to say they thought you maybe coached or helped out with Cresswell, the high school. Is that true?
Well, not really. I've spent a little time in the gym with the guys in the summer, but
okay.
I've never officially sat on the bench at Cresswell, no.
There you go. As a senior, kind of maybe go back a couple of years, as a senior at Cresswell, who are the other schools in pursuit of, say, Luke Jackson? Who are you hearing from that wanted you to come play basketball for him?
I'm hearing a little bit from Arizona,
Wow.
really heavy from Gonzaga. Mark Few is a Cresswell native, and I had known him, my entire life. And then Eddie Payne at Oregon State was on me pretty heavy, too. It was kind of narrowed down to those schools.
Always a foregone conclusion, or was there ever like maybe a day or two or even like a half-hour window where you were thinking about another school seriously?
My family all grew up Duck fans, but they were really insistent on me making the decision for myself. And I wanted to explore and just see what the best option was. I don't think it helped much when Ernie Kent came to my house and my grandfather, who was sitting in on all of the coach home visits, shows up decked out head to toe in Oregon gear. I think once I went on a couple of visits, I was pretty much knew exactly where I was going to go. And to be able to play 10 minutes away from where you grew up and have all your friends and family be able to come to the games was a pretty special thing for me.
Was there ever a moment, though, when you were playing where you're thinking, man, it would be nice to even be, 100 miles, 200, maybe not that far away, like 3 or 4 states away, but did you ever kind of wished that you were maybe kind of outside the region?
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone wants to go away to college and be their own person and make their own decisions and everything like that. I was really tempted to go to Gonzaga. They had something really special there. I had started a friendship with Luke Ridnour, and I remember calling Mark Few when Luke Ridnour was visiting. And they were in the car, and he put me on speakerphone, and I said, hey, Mark, this probably isn't the best time to tell you, but, I'm going to Oregon, and Luke, if you can hear me, I want you to come down there too. So that was a little cold-blooded, but, I really wanted him to come, and he was, a little highly more sought after than I was. He was a McDonald's All-American. But we were calling each other and bouncing things off each other, and he ended up coming, and obviously it was a great decision for both of us.
Did he ever afterwards tell you that had any bearing on what he decided to do?
No, Luke's his own man. I think he was I think he wanted to be in a situation where he could play right away, and Oregon was definitely, gave him the reins right away, started every game. And, I think that he just went to the best fit for him. And if you looked at how Coach Kent let players have so much freedom within the offense, I think that was perfect for his game.
Talking to head coach Luke Jackson of the Beacons, I can't believe you just finished your 3rd season with it. I feel like you just started, but the last one one of the most productive in Beacon history. If you could talk as objectively as you can, who is Coach Luke Jackson? Describe Coach Luke Jackson.
Well, I think I'm drawing on experience from, my playing days, and then, tried to absorb as much as I possibly could from all the coaches that I played for. And I was, fortunate to play for some of the best college coaches, and be around some of the game's all-time best coaches. And I think you take away from that more who you don't want to be, and you just need to be authentic. But rule number one for me is you need to play harder than the other team. And, I put that on the board every day in pregame, and we talk a lot about it in practice. But it's more about building a culture of guys that care about one another and that are doing all the little things. So fundamentals are important with me, having respect for the game, and then creating a culture within the locker room where guys are playing for one another. And I think when you do things the right way, it becomes fun. A lot of guys get burnt out with coaches and with basketball, and they just want to quit after high school or, maybe 1 year of junior college or whatever. But I think when you start improving and working hard and seeing yourself get better, you get a sense of joy out of the game. And, I think fans respect that, and it's certainly worked well.
You talk about taking from coaches. When you talk about Ernie, what things did you glean from your experiences with him as a coach?
Coach Kent was and is one of the best recruiters ever. Even after I was done playing at Oregon, he would always bring me back. And I sat down with Malik Harrison, Marty Lunan, Bryce Taylor, Aaron Brooks, a lot of these guys that had great success at Oregon. I got one-on-one time with those guys, telling them why they should come. And it was an easy sell for me, but listening to Coach Kent, he could sell anything. And he was a great, great recruiter, and I think I took that. That's probably the biggest thing outside of his in-game preparation was outstanding.
Of course, you become quite the recruiter yourself. If you look at the Beacons in the year that they just had, they beat Southwest Kansas, or you guys beat Southwest Kansas in the NAIA Division II National Championship Tournament, and then ended up losing to the national champs, Indiana Wesleyan, losing by 4. How good were they, the team that you that ended up the title winners, in 3? We'll say in 3 games. Could you beat them 2 out of 3 if you were?
Yeah, at the end of the season, and you see it in the NCAA tournament as well, it's really whoever has their best game. I thought that Indiana Wesleyan and us were the 2 best teams, and it was unfortunate that we got seeded so close to one another with the outstanding years that we both had. But their starting point guard was like the 6th man at Indiana, and he just wanted to go play for a Christian school. Their starting big man started off at Indiana State, 6'10", 255, and they had a bunch of older players on their team. One of the advantages of going to an NAIA school, and you see a lot of older players, you don't have 5 years to play 4 like you do in the NCAAs. So you have some 27, 28-year-old grown men out there playing. But I thought we were 2 of the best teams, and I think we probably could have beat them 6 or 7 out of 10 times. But it was a rough game. Had some bad calls, and that's just the way it goes. But we went down swinging. We played as hard as we could.
Out of curiosity, you're going to get attention, and the better your teams just each and every year get better. What is your game plan? I mean, it's just you and I talking. If you're coaching there in 2 to 3 years right now, would you be surprised?
I'm not worried about that at all. I really care a lot about the school. I think it's a great place for kids to go to school. I feel like it's a privilege for me to coach there. I'm not really looking ahead at all. I'm just trying to do the absolute best job that I can. And the future looks really bright. I mean, we have a lot of returners. Arguably, our best player redshirted this year, a 6'11" guy that had 12 Division I offers, decided to come to, Northwest Christian, and I think he's going to be, maybe the best player, in school history possibly, which is saying a lot considering there's been some outstanding players there. I mean, he's got a chance to do whatever he wants with his game, and he decided to come and play for us. So, I would love to win a national championship. That's great, but I feel like it's a privilege for me to be a contribution in these guys, prime years where they can make a bunch of great decisions and set themselves up for a great life. And, that's what I really value.
If you can say that you haven't thought it, too far ahead and had the goal-setting session where you talk about, where you want to be after a certain year or two. But, I mean, with, Dana Altman maybe in the next, couple of years moving on from Oregon, you haven't had that discussion with yourself or family or anybody about potentially being a future coach there at Oregon?
Obviously, the University of Oregon is very close to my heart. I'm not going to sit there and say that wouldn't ever be a possibility or anything like that, but it's, that's so far down in the future that I'm not really worried about that right now. I'm just trying to do the best job that I can, learn every day, and, make a positive impact in the student athletes. And it can be a really fun thing. And that's why I enjoy what I do. I just feel like outside of the basketball court, you can make such a difference in their lives. I've just really enjoyed it.
Let's get the Luke Jackson game plan. If you were coaching the current Ducks going into tomorrow's game, how would you diffuse Duke?
Well, they've got some serious firepower, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Obviously, their guards, you got to step out, and defensive transition is huge. Duke will push it up, take deep threes at any time, and a lot of their offense is just read and react. I think a huge X factor in this game is keeping Plumlee off of the glass. This is a great college basketball player that has completely embraced his role of, I might not touch the ball on the block every time I post up, but anytime a shot goes up, he is a huge problem on the offensive glass. And he's bigger and stronger than Oregon down low, but that doesn't mean they can't block him out with multiple players. And he's going to be a huge X factor in the game. And then I think Oregon matches up pretty well everywhere else. Ingram can get going, one of the best players in college basketball, but I think the advantage goes to Oregon right now.
Ooh. It's going to be fun to watch. Out of curiosity, have you contacted Rid since he's retired, Luke Ridnour?
Yeah, I'm actually taking my family down, and I'm meeting up with Luke, and we're going to watch the game. So we're leaving this afternoon.
You're watching the Sweet 16 game as the Ducks try to get to the Elite Eight, as you did back in 2002 with Luke Ridnour.
Yeah, we're
That's
going
awesome.
to the game together with our families, and then we're going to go to Disneyland.
Very cool. Hey, Luke, keep in touch with us. You're just doing incredible things over there, and we'd love to have you back, and continued success.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. Go Ducks, and we'll chat again soon.
Absolutely. Head coach Luke Jackson of the Beacons, future national champs, when he says that, I wouldn't bet against him. Coming up, hour number 3, the wake-up call. It's 11:20 KPNW today. Partly cloudy, overcast, and 59 degrees.
It's the grand opening celebration at Brad's Car Tunes in Springfield this Saturday from 9 till 6. Specials include a JVC Bluetooth head unit for $138, 6-inch JVC speakers for $38 a pair. Get an extra $10 off these items at Brad's new location in Springfield. Grand opening savings at both Brad's Car Tunes Tunes this Saturday, 7th and Blair, and now at 38th and Main in Springfield. Stay tuned.
Turn the clock back and engage your imagination as Radio Redux reprises radio days of yesteryear. Performing at the Holt Center on April 8th and 10th, Radio Redux turns its critically acclaimed retro-modern radio storytelling talents loose on the hit comedy It Happened One Night. Get in on the fun of this madcap road trip romance between a spoiled socialite and a roguish reporter. Lots of laughs in Radio Redux's stage version of the Oscar-winning film. It Happened One Night at the Holt Center on April 8th and 10th. Get your tickets today.
Traffic situation, if you see anything, we're still, looks like the Crestwell situation has been absolved. Everything else looking decent. If you see anything, 541-485-KPNW or 1-888-KPNW-888. Hour number 3, going to talk with Isaac Jackson, attorney Isaac Jackson coming up. It's 11:20 KPNW with the Wake Up Call, live and local.
News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He says Belgium will prevail. Vice President Joe Biden going to their embassy in Washington to sign a condolence book the day after the terror attacks.
We are prepared to provide any and all information, capability, technology, anything we have that can be value added.
Now, there's a manhunt in Belgium for one of the terrorists seen on surveillance video. There were 3 others who blew themselves up, one in a subway.
The bomber was identified by his fingerprints. Khalid al-Bakrawi, brother of Ibrahim, a Belgian citizen.
Prosecutor Frederick Van Loo, that brother Ibrahim was one of the 2 suicide attackers at the still-closed airport. The 31 people murdered are being publicly mourned.
Hundreds of people gathering here at the Boer Square in central Brussels. Many are observing a moment or two of silence. People have placed flowers and candles in the center of the square. There have also been quite a few chalk drawings showing peace signs and support for those who lost their lives. This is all being done under chilly temperatures and cloudy skies. At Boer Square in Brussels, Jessica Gallagher, Fox News.
Donald Trump's now up to 739 delegates after winning Arizona, but Jeb Bush, who often clashed with Trump in his run for president, is now endorsing Ted Cruz. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Phoenix.
Dave, Donald Trump may have won all of Arizona's 58 delegates here, but Ted Cruz won in a landslide in Utah, so he got all 40 of those delegates. And while he is behind in the overall delegate count, he says more conservatives are realizing he should lead the party.
If Donald Trump is the nominee, Hillary wins, and I beat Hillary Clinton. You know, there was an amazing poll last week in Utah that if Donald Trump were the nominee, Hillary beats Trump in Utah.
Now, Bernie Sanders says his wins in Idaho and Utah give him confidence moving forward, though Hillary Clinton won by a large margin here in Arizona, Dave.
Jessica New Quinnipiac poll gives Trump a 14-point lead over Ted Cruz nationally, Clinton up by 12. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Neurospine Institute is a healing place that offers sophisticated diagnostic and surgical services with a range of treatment options. Their specialists are leaders in their profession in addressing back and neck injuries, pain management, and sports medicine. Treatments include neurosurgery, physical therapy, minimally invasive procedures, and pain management. Equipped with sophisticated diagnostic and surgical capabilities, plus a caring staff committed to each patient's well-being. They'll work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure the best care and treatment for your unique situation. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg Clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Fearing Palestinians could attack the Jewish festival Purim, the Israeli military has imposed a 4-day closure on the West Bank, banning Palestinians from entering the country. There's a nasty spring snowstorm heading from the Rockies to the Great Lakes. 400 flights canceled to and from Denver. Fox's Jeff Manasso tracking the storm live from our Midwest Bureau.
Dave, there are school and business closures, power outages, and whiteout conditions from Denver to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where the snow is falling at a rate of 2 inches per hour amid powerful winds there.
Highways in and out of Cheyenne, all highways are closed. We have some stranded motorists on the highways now that are Wyoming Department of Transportation crews are trying to get to and get them off the road.
Cheyenne and Laramie County EMS Director Rob Cleveland urging people across the region to stay home with blizzard and winter storm warnings that stretch into Nebraska, parts of Kansas, all the way northeast to upper Michigan, where they are expecting a ton of snow, and 8 to 14 inches of snow also expected in central Wisconsin through tomorrow night. Dave.
Jeff, it happens every year. The Library of Congress puts classic recordings in its archives, 25 more being preserved.
Oh, the shock and... I should probably apologize in advance for the songs in this story that are about to be stuck in your head. The Library of Congress class of 2015 has been selected for preservation and includes blues, jazz, rock, and country, along with comedy audio, George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words routine, and coverage of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. From the Columbia Quartet's song from 1911 to Motown and The Piano Man. It brings the sound registry's total to 450. Oh yeah, that's the one I'll be singing all day. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow's down 32 points as oil drops more than $1 a barrel this morning. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
When it comes to the Second Amendment, it should be no mystery that these attackers have conspicuously gone to gun-free zones. Does that mean you put a gun in every location, it's automatically safe? Maybe not. But what difference it makes is the difference between a tragedy becoming a mass casualty travesty.
From a 6 o'clock discussion we had with a former deputy national security advisor to the White House, Stephen Yates, talking about the situation in Brussels. And I think that's probably pretty true words there, and probably going to continue as you see people, basically exposing themselves and giving them, themselves a big target. Coming up, Isaac Jackson, going to talk with attorney Isaac Jackson and Adam Cluett.
Yep, Adam is one of the folks that's vying for House District Seat 14, which, of course, was abdicated by Val Hoyle because she wants to be Secretary of State. So, anyway, he's going to be in, and we'll learn a little bit about him. He'll be our first guest out of the block in the 8 o'clock hour here on News Radio 1120 KPNW. Let's see, a couple of things that are going on. If you haven't, registered for us to bring you ice cream absolutely free tomorrow for your office mates, numbering in 15 or under, send us an email, 1120kpnw@gmail.com. Umpqua Dairy supplying the ice cream, KPNW doing the delivery services. It'll be tomorrow right around 12:30. Send us your email if you'd like to be in the offing for that at 1120kpnw@gmail.com, 1120kpnw@gmail.com. And, of course, we're going to be out at Sam's Place on Franklin tomorrow night, from 4 to 7 o'clock, late afternoon, early evening, out there for Thirsty Thursday, where you get to maybe do a little taste testing of some Widmer goodness. We're going to be giving away stuff about every 15 minutes. We've got tickets to James Taylor, Dead and Company. The Cure is going to be in the area. So, yeah, I know, Rob over here. What? The Cure? Yeah, I know. We've got tickets for that even. I was surprised when I was like, are they still alive? The Cure?
Oh, come on.
Really?
Alive and rocking.
Yeah, okay.
Where are they playing? Somewhere cool.
Oh, I know where they're playing. They're playing at that, it used to be the Sleep Country Amphitheater. Now it's the, whatever it's called, the place with bells or something like that.
Place, yeah.
Have you heard the new name of it? You just go, what? That doesn't sound like a real amphitheater.
Yeah. No, I can't recall what it is.
Sounds like something that some guy built in his backyard.
Who's to say that somebody didn't build it?
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. All right. Cure tickets. All right. News as well. Just a reminder, Oregon 222 at milepost 14.38 still appearing on the big trip check map. Southbound lanes affected. So if that affects your commute, maybe go a different route. 808 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Burrito Amigos is a business rule breaker. In business courses, it's taught you can make a product cheap and fast, cheap and good, or good and fast, but you can't have it cheap, fast, and good. Burrito Amigos, therefore, is an outlier. You do get all three characteristics in any product at Burrito Amigos. How many burrito places can claim they put real, tender pieces of black Angus beef in their huge burritos and yet sell them for way under $10 and get them to you in just a couple of minutes? Take anything off the menu and it's the same. I'm a new convert to the Burrito Amigos shrimp burritos, and they're like something from what most people would consider to be a fancy sit-down restaurant. You've got to love a business that breaks the rule of three and then gives you friendly service as a bonus. That's one of the reasons why I'm one of Burrito Amigos' biggest fans. That, and they use 2 types of bacon in their bacon burritos. That's another business rule. You can't have it cheap, fast, and good with 2 types of bacon. Unless it's Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. They could be burrito unicorns.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
It's spring, and you're excited for that next great shooting trip. Your first stop should be Tannerite Sports Outlet in Eugene. You know Tannerite Sports Outlet's your local source for Tannerite binary rifle targets, but there's so much more. Tannerite's got reloading supplies, tactical gear, magazines, and accessories. And if ammo supply is a worry, don't, because Tannerite has bulk quantities of the most popular calibers that'll keep you shooting affordably. No question, Tannerite's the home for exploding targets. But from tactical gear to ammo, it's the Tannerite Sports Outlet, just off I-5 across from LCC.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
And good morning. This look at the news, live and local, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, there were 2 University of Oregon students studying abroad in Belgium, and as of yesterday, they're accounted for and safe after a terror attack that killed at least 34 people and has injured dozens more. The company Global Education Oregon helps students find opportunities to study abroad, and they said in a statement that they've been working hard to make sure all of their students overseas are safe. Now, one student studying in Brussels was found to be all right. Another student studying in London but traveling in Belgium was also accounted for and safe. The company says they're in the process of confirming the well-being of other students in their programs elsewhere across Europe, some of whom may have been traveling during spring break. OSU says, according to their records, they don't have any students in Belgium. Now, also in the aftermath of the bombings yesterday, Eugene airport officials say they're exercising heightened vigilance, along with a lot of other airports all around the country. The Port of Portland police say they have heightened security, and they're looking for anything suspicious. Understandably now, plan for even more time at airport checkpoints if you happen to be taking a flight anywhere in the country. Lane County law enforcement is still remaining mum on a body found early last month. That's early last month in the Wolf Creek area. The sheriff's office and the DA's office only announced yesterday that they had found skeletonized human remains that were turned over to the state medical examiner's office early in February. And they say they believe the death was a homicide. Now, the release of that sketchy information yesterday also coincides with the information that the funeral is going to be held for Courtney Bundy of Springfield. Bundy was a mother of 2 and disappeared in July. Her funeral is supposed to happen April 2nd, according to her sister, Desiree Dixon. Dixon, on social media, claims she was told by investigators not to say how or when Bundy's body was found and recovered, although she claims her sister was murdered. KPNW contacted the Lane County Sheriff's Office to ask about the connection between the press release and the issue of Bundy. They passed us on to the DA's office. The DA's office has not returned our call. Lane County's employment numbers have remained mostly static over the last month. The February seasonally adjusted unemployment rate is holding steady at 5%.
Private education and health services is added the most over the year at 1,200.
Professional and business services is up 900. Retail trade is up 900, and manufacturing is up 500.
Regional employment economist Brian Rooney says there are some sectors that are experiencing job losses.
Information is down. There was that includes print publishing.
Losses are a concern there as the internet is pushing publishing and publishers out of business. The overall outlook, though, despite the losses, is fairly positive.
Right now, we're seeing strong employment growth. The over-the-year employment growth rate is 3.1%.
According to Rooney, Lane County has seen 10 monthly non-farm employment increases in the last 12 months. The Lane County Sheriff's Office has completed their training process to provide enough deputies to restore 24-hour patrols.
Covering the gap that hasn't been covered. So those 4 to 6 hours a day that have nobody on duty, those gaps will now go away because instead of running 2 shifts, we'll run 3 shifts. There's still 3 deputies a shift, 3.5 on average, that are on duty at any given time in Lane County for patrol response.
Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp claims the typical response times will improve, although the number or a number and how much those times will improve isn't available. Trapp points out the alternative wasn't working well.
But when you have all your deputies home sleeping, then they've got to get woke up and get their boots on and get out to their patrol cars and drive across the county to wherever that call may be. It adds a significant delay that sometimes is not survivable.
Funding for the 24-hour patrol was made possible by the Lane County Board of Commissioners. Well, a federal judge in Eugene rejected 2 environmental groups' requests for a speedy court order to dramatically change Deschutes river flow management before this spring's irrigation season, ruling that they had failed to prove that such a move is needed to protect a threatened frog. U.S. District Judge Ann Aiken said the Center for Biological Diversity and Water Watch of Oregon had failed to show a preliminary injunction was justified to protect the threatened Oregon spotted frog. The federal agency and irrigation districts involved in the suit have rejected the claim, saying that the frogs have adapted to the river's conditions and that a sudden change now would actually kill them. Well, the deadline's been extended to apply for a position in one of the City of Eugene's many advisory boards. As a board member, you could be playing a part on major budget decisions on policing, and even have a voice when it comes to planning the future of the City of Eugene. As far as the time commitment, it varies.
The Budget Committee meets rather intensely in May and probably June. The Civilian Review Board probably meets monthly. I don't know that for a fact. Human Rights Commission, if you get on one of their subcommittees, they might meet several times a month. So it's real specific to each group.
Chris Block, the Support Council coordinator, says there are benefits to holding one of the many unpaid positions.
They are helping shape the community, I would think. Extremely valuable in their volunteer works and helping make decisions that they're policy advisory to the city council. So, they're kind of providing assistance to our top elected officials.
Wow, I'm sold. If you're interested in any of the positions, you can contact the city manager's office. A huge grain ship that's grounded in the Columbia River east of Astoria is badly damaged. Brad Ford has the details.
The 623-foot Sparna grounded on Sunday near Klatskanai with a river pilot on board. Coast Guard Petty Officer Levi Reed says they now know the extent of the damage.
The damage assessment found significant damage to the hull of the vessel.
There are several cracks in the steel.
The biggest being 25 by 5 feet long with a boulder wedged inside that hole.
An incident response team remains on scene. So far, none of the more than 250,000 gallons of oil on board has leaked. The ship is carrying grain. It'll be moved to the port of Longview on Wednesday. Brad Ford, KPNW.
The front half of a boat less than 20 feet long is washed up on the southern Oregon coast, a little north of Coos Bay. Chris Havel with Oregon State Parks says biologists are going to be testing samples of marine life to determine whether there's a risk of invasive species and hopefully figure out where the boat came from.
We all suspect it's tsunami debris from the March 2011 tsunami that struck Japan, but the plants and animals that are attached really help the biologists zero in on where it actually came came from.
The salvage company will remove the boat. They'll recycle anything that can be reused, and the rest is going to go to a landfill. A federal judge in Portland will allow U.S. Marshals to transport Ammon Bundy and 5 others to Nevada for a court hearing related to an armed standoff against government agents in 2014. The men have been jailed in Portland since January for their roles in a 41-day standoff with government authorities at an Oregon wildlife refuge. They wanted public lands relinquished to local control. Defense attorneys contend their clients shouldn't be transferred until the Oregon case is over because doing so would violate their right to a speedy trial and effective counsel. U.S. District Judge Anna Brown ordered the defendants to be flown to Nevada on April 13th and returned to Oregon within 10 days. Their Nevada arrangements are likely to take place, or arraignments, on April 14th or 15th. Researchers at Oregon Health Sciences University are challenging the convention that tetanus and diphtheria vaccine boosters need to be taken every 10 years. Brad Ford says OHSU found tetanus shots are not needed as often for adults.
Since the 1960s, we've been told to get our booster shot every 10 years. Mark Slifka with OHSU says that's been based mainly on tradition, not science.
And really fill this knowledge gap by asking the question, how often should we vaccinate? Every 10 years, or should we more often or less often?
Slifka says they found over 97% of Americans have protected levels of immunity for both tetanus and diphtheria, and our immunity maintained for decades.
We can maintain protective immunity even if we change the vaccination schedule from once every 10 years to once every 30 years with no loss in protection.
Even if you can't remember when you got your last shot, Slifka says they're looking to change the vaccination schedule to make it based on your age instead of time. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Oregon-based Deschutes Brewery is making Virginia home to its East Coast operations. The governor there, Terry McAuliffe, announced that the craft brewing company is going to invest about $85 million to build a facility in Roanoke that's expected to create about 100 new jobs there. Virginia officials have been working for months to woo Deschutes, which also considered cities in North and South Carolina for their new brewery. Deschutes' announcement is a pretty big win for Roanoke, which lost out to the Asheville area for the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company's East Coast Brewery a few years ago, and it comes less than 2 years after California-based Stone Brewing Company revealed plans to build a facility in Richmond. A trade group says Deschutes was among the top 10 craft brewing companies in the country in 2014 based on sales volume. Obsidian Stout, that's all I'm saying. A training class on human trafficking in West Lynn turned into a real-life bust for a man who thought he was meeting a woman for sex. Brad Ford reports.
As part of the training class, they posted an ad for an escort online, and the phone started ringing.
There were 16 phone calls just during the class alone.
Sergeant Mike Francis says they'd normally conduct this type of operation at another location, but the class was at the police station.
We just gave him the address and description of how to get to the police department. And of course, we didn't tell him it was the police department. Came right to our door.
An officer was waiting outside and arrested 19-year-old Renee Cruz Mesa on a charge of prostitution. Francis says human trafficking is a violent crime.
Taking these girls and victimizing them.
The average age of the girls forced into prostitution is 13. Sex trafficking is the second most lucrative commodity next to illegal drug sales. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Okay, and finally, you know how there have been all these studies that say moderate drinking of wine and alcohol can help you live longer? Forget that. Not so much. A new study says all those other studies don't show much benefit at all. Canadian researchers analyzed data from 87 other previous studies on alcohol and death and health. And they say the studies linking moderate drinking to a longer life are skewed, highlighting benefits where actually none exist. The researchers said they found what they call an abstainer bias in almost all of the studies, and that means when researchers compared moderate drinkers with non-drinkers, the non-drinking group often included people who don't consume booze because they have other health issues. And they say that bias made the moderate drinkers, people who downed anywhere from a drink per week to 1 to 2 a day, seem healthier by comparison. They said when they corrected for the abstainer bias, the moderate alcohol drinkers no longer showed a longevity advantage. Well, I'll drink to that. It's 8:22. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
So, several weeks before the first Oregon football game in September, thousands will visit Autzen Stadium for an international soccer match between FC International and Paris Saint-Germain of France. It's one of the International Cup games around the country and will take place July 24th at 2 p.m. That's not going to be hot. Other cities with planned matches, San Francisco, Chicago, L.A., among others. They'll have to add to the football surface to come up with the needed 105 by 68 meters. An American football field is 109.7 by 49 meters. Tickets, by the way, to go on sale April 5th. If you go on the International Cup website, you can bypass that by getting the pre-sale access starting March 29th. Oregon baseball team beat Seattle on the road 6-4. Tomorrow they start a 3-game series with the Huskies. Meanwhile, number 3, Oregon State, played Portland and beat them pretty handedly, 13-6 behind 14 hits. Scotland Church hits a save for the Beavers. Oregon track and field sophomore Devin Allen named the track athlete of the week after clocking 20.79 in the 200, 6 all-time in the Oregon record books. He's a hurdler, and he's doing that in the 200. He won the 110 hurdles. Duck Annie LeBlanc named the women's track athlete of the week after winning the 800 and the 1500. Her time in the 800, 204.38. Fastest outdoor time in the NC2A this point. And Cody Danielson awarded the field athlete of the week after he uncorked a javelin throw, 251 feet, 9 inches. Offense the word in the local prep softball yesterday. Elmira scored 31 runs in 2 games, winning their game with South Umpqua 20-4. On the road in baseball, Sheldon came up short against Chaparral 12-7 at the Coach Bob Invitational in Phoenix, Arizona. Wake Up Call Sports, live and local, brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority in nutrition since 1991, across Franklin from Market of Choice in Eugene. News time, 8:25.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at RamjackWest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out the door in the next few minutes, we've actually got partly cloudy skies out there, but there's a catch. We've got patchy dense fog off and on as well. Now, I expect that fog to burn off by about 11 a.m. Otherwise, temps right now are in the mid to low 40s with light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. Now, this afternoon, we'll see these partly cloudy skies becoming mostly cloudy as the next storm system's already setting to move in. We could see showers as early as 8 p.m. Otherwise, highs look to be in the mid to upper 50s. Winds will pick up in the afternoon out of the southwest at 10 to 15 with a few gusts up to 20. And we will see showers off and on throughout the night into tomorrow morning with lingering energy over the next couple of days and another major storm system Saturday night into Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather could cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at RamjackWest.com.
CCB 146906.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Okay, Ben, you tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades. I tell you how your seemingly innocuous decisions ultimately alter the course of your entire existence. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, on the train, do you A, order food, or B, get a drink?
Get a drink.
Nice. Coffee or beer?
Beer me.
Ooh, someone catches your eye. Say hello or find your seat?
Say hello.
She's a Beaver fan. I noticed you're wearing a duck catch.
Ooh.
Deal breaker or get her number?
Yeah, sure, get her number.
You get her digits. After 6 months of dating, you adopt a rescue dog and you name her Pork Chop. And 4 months later, you propose on the jumbo screen at the Civil War. She spills her drink on you. Boo. But says yes. Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah, want to know your kids' names? Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition is more than a nutrition store. Tom here at Max Muscle. If you want to make changes to your overall health, lose weight, build muscle, or if you just want to feel better, stop by, talk to a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
What is today? Today's the day you do absolutely nothing. Put it on silent nothing, because you aren't one to let chore time get in the way of your time. And that's why you use Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Save 20% on all Echo Pro Grade string trimmers, chainsaws, and blowers during the Echo one-day sales event, and take the hassle out of yard work.
Visit McKenzie Power Equipment in Springfield for their Echo one-day sales event on Saturday, March 26th, starting at 9 a.m. and take advantage of 20% off select Echo and Shindawa units. That's Saturday, March 26th at McKenzie Power Equipment.
The International Champions Cup is coming this summer. Experience world-class soccer when French champions Paris Saint-Germain take on Inter Milan in a clash of two of the top teams in Europe. July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get tickets early by signing up for the exclusive pre-sale at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss this chance to see the best soccer players in the world. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan, July 24th, Autzen Stadium. Get tickets before the general public by signing up at internationalchampionscup.com. Don't miss it.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It's 8:28. Enjoy the sunshine while you can today. All right, so we have been exploring House District Seat 14, which, of course, is available as Val Hoyle decided that she was going to abdicate that position so that she could run for Secretary of State. One of those folks that would like to vie for that particular seat joins us on the wake-up call, Adam Cluett from the... what are you laughing about anyway?
Well, it's Aaron. Thank you. But...
Yeah, but no, you're Adam to me. So we had... last week, Kathy Lamberg in there, and I was calling him Adam or Ignatius or something like that, and so Adam is stuck. But anyway, Aaron Cluett joining us on the wake-up call this morning.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for being here, Adam.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure to meet you and Rob, and thank you so much for having me on the air.
Okay, now you're just sucking up.
You need to call him a different name.
Yeah.
Call him Roger.
Bob. All of those things work. I respond to a number of different monikers. Okay, so where do you currently live?
I currently live in Junction City. We have a house there in Rose, and I don't know.
Oh, we had folks walking by. I'm waving at them.
That's okay.
You have to keep in mind on it's radio, and so this is not like TV where everybody's like intently
looking at the camera.
Yeah, we're waving at folks as they walk by. It's a very weird circumstance.
That's okay.
So what do you do?
I'm a business systems analyst. I've been a business systems analyst for the past 15 years. Very recently, at the late end of February, I was laid off from my current position. And now I'm currently looking for other opportunities and looking for a job to help me out, to support my family. So,
wow. So how big a surprise was that layoff?
It wasn't that big of a surprise. The industry itself has been going down for a while, and it's just something that happened. I wish I could have found a job sooner.
Right. When you say the industry is going down, what do you mean by that?
Well, it was in the metal recycling industry. So a lot of the metal that we sell is in China, and China's economy is doing really dismal right now. And so compared to our economy, which is a little bit stronger than theirs, and so when you look at the two economies, we have to sell prices lower, and then that affects how much money we're making and how much money we're buying, or how much we're buying for the metal. And so it was just kind of, we were expecting the metal prices to go up, but they never did, and so I was a casualty of that.
I'm sorry.
Well,
that's not. Well, I mean, that's not a fun thing, being a parent, and you're out there, you're working, you've got. I mean, if you're a single guy and you lose your job, it's like, well, whatever. I'll go out and do something until I find something better.
Exactly.
When you're a parent, on the other hand, then it becomes, there's a whole new imperative that becomes a part of that factor.
There is, and I know Kathy mentioned it last week, and I'm going
Kathy
to mention
Lamberg,
Kathy Lamberg,
right?
And we need to do more to bring business here. We need to bring businesses here. It's not just something where we look at the unemployment rate and we say, oh, well, it's doing fine. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible, and nobody is doing anything about it.
What's horrible?
The horrible thing is if I need to find a job to support my family, right? I literally have to compete with hundreds of other Oregonians that are trying to do the same thing, or what I need to do is either move to Washington, move to Idaho, or move to California, where there is plenty of jobs in my field. And that's where the pinch is coming from.
Okay, you on one hand, I'm hearing you say that there's no jobs out there, but on the other hand, I mean, we're hearing from the unemployment department or the employment department, however you want to look at it, that our rate's below 5% for the first time since 93 or 94. So, I mean, flesh that out a little bit. That doesn't sound right.
Well, I mean, because other people that are in my situation and in myself, if I get a job offer that's in Washington that is well-paying and that they provide health care, that I can raise my children there, then I'm going to have to get up and I'm going to have to move to Washington. I mean, that's just where...
Are you trying to say that the jobs that are being created here in Oregon are low-paying jobs?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that we just we're not driving in the business where there's plenty of businesses out there where we can sustain higher paying jobs.
Okay. So, I mean, you hear candidates, they come into the studio, they say that all the time. Oh, well, we're not creating enough family jobs. We need to change that and da-da-da. Okay, so what do you do to change it? From House District 14, sitting there in the legislature, let's just wave our magic wand and say, okay, Aaron has won. What do you do to change that?
We need to do more for business development. We need to encourage entrepreneurship.
How are you going to do that?
Just as you heard earlier with Virginia, as they were competing for companies to move into their area. We need to take a more active approach in promoting businesses to move here. We need to look at our taxes and how we are taxing corporations and take a strong look at that, because we can't just continue to punish businesses and then look for them to move here. That's just not going to work. And we need to take a real hard look at that. We need to look at what we're doing and making sure that we're doing everything we can to bring business here so that we can have workers.
So you don't think we are?
We're not. We're not. And creating a state prison in our area, I mean, that was, or the mental hospital, I mean, that was great, right? But you know what? I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a janitor, right? I'm somebody that works in the private sector.
Well, you could be a janitor if you really wanted to be. Not very high standards there.
Well,
I don't want to. I'm not picking on janitors. I was one for a while, so I feel your pain.
A sanitation engineer is a great job, and they do their job well, and they.
Right, I get what you're saying, though. All right, so obviously job creation is something that's near and dear to your heart. What else, inspired you to just decide, I think I'm going to run. I'm going to do it. I'm going to step out there and do it. I'm going to become involved in politics, by golly.
It was more of I guess, an anger thing. When I look
some
at...
Some people go to counseling for that as opposed to run for office.
Well, at least I'm doing something about it. So, but, when we look at our schools, in Junction City, we have a Laurel Elementary School. And the school is fantastic. The teachers are great. The school board is excellent, but the building is deteriorating, and we need to get funding for that building. We need to do new construction on the building, or build a new school.
That's why God created tax levies.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, tax levies are great, and they go out, and just like 2 years ago they did go out, but it was denied, right? So the voters voted no, that they weren't going to pay for a new school, and that is great. But it wasn't like a science wing. It wasn't trying to do something out of the normal definitions of what a school should be. That they're looking to reconstruct or to do construction for the school. And that's where, it went out and the voters voted no, and that's was the issue. And I think that the state should do more for construction and capital projects for schools, because Laurel is just one school, but across Oregon there's probably hundreds of schools that are just like that need construction, and they just don't have the ability to get levied.
Why should that be done on the state level as opposed to the local level? The local level people are the people that are putting their kids in the schools. They're the people that are involved in those school board meetings and everything else. Why should I, sitting in Philomath, Oregon, pay for some school district in Maupin to build a new gym? Why should I be I mean, I'm already paying for my local school district to and still paying off having built a new high school. Why should I pay for Maupin's?
And that's a great question. So when you look at these smaller cities, these smaller towns, right, they don't have the revenue. They don't have the ability to afford a large tax on their incomes. Or on their property taxes to pay for their schools to be rebuilt, or to even have the construction of the building maintained. So it's one thing to sit there and look at or city schools, right? Like schools that are in Eugene, or schools that are in Portland or Beaverton, or where they have a lot of people. But when you look at these smaller cities, when you look at these smaller towns, they really don't have the ability to pay or to foster the capital project of the school. You find that most of these small towns, they're going from a 5-day school week to a 4-day just to support their schools, and I think that's outrageous. And that's one of the things that I think is...
Yeah, but okay, but we're almost talking apples and oranges here. I mean, you're talking about capital projects, and when you start talking about 5 days to 4-day school, now you're talking about personnel issues, and that's a completely different budget line.
It's all about education, right? We need to do more for education. With a 68% high school graduation rate for the state of Oregon that came out of KGW News, I mean, that's embarrassing.
KGW News is to blame for the graduation rates. I just want to say that. You've heard it here for the first time at KPNW.
Well, I just want to make sure that I have my references
No,
straight,
I understand what you're saying. I'm just teasing.
So,
okay, but okay, if you're gonna solve that, then what are you gonna do? Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, well, we need to spend more money in schools. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
We need to take a smarter and more efficient spending to improve our facilities, to improve our schools.
Okay,
and
so
we're just not doing
smarter
that.
and more efficient funding. How? What could be done smarter and more efficiently?
There's a couple things. One is create a tax incentive create a tax incentive for private contributions going to capital projects for schools. Take an evaluation of what we're spending our money on, and really taking a hard look and making sure that the money that is supposed to be funneled in a certain direction, that it's going into that bucket, and making sure that just making sure that our education is a priority.
Okay, so if you're saying that small school districts are having a problem with these capital projects, and they can't raise enough through tax levies, and that you want to give a tax break to companies that are donating to these school districts. If you're in a small area, so you're going to get some donations from Subway, the local family attorney, and the filling station. That doesn't sound like that's going to build a school either.
It's not, and that's why the capital projects, they need to be brought up to a state level. For these schools that are not able to.
So are you going to put a cap then? Because you said, well, it's different when you have large school districts like Eugene or Portland, but smaller school districts. So what's the population cap?
To be honest, I've never thought of that.
Okay. Well, what size is city, just off the top of your head, seems like the type that, okay, we would offer that on a state level for school districts this size, but not this size.
I think that would be a great discussion to have in Salem to figure what those are.
Okay. What other thing? Okay, briefly, because we got another guest that's hanging out in the hallway. What are a couple of other things that are near and dear to your heart that you'd like to see changed or that you would like to work for?
Those are my two things that I'm fighting for. Those are my two things that I feel that the voters should, consider, and I think that those are, the fight that I can bring to Salem. I know Kathy Lambert, and I know she's elegant. She's full of grace. I think she's a class act, and if she wins in the primary, I would love it if she supported me. Because I know she feels just as strongly, but where I am different is I'm loud, I'm talkative, I'm in your face, and and I am a fighter. I'm willing to give the fight.
Kathy Lambert, a bit more on the demure side. I think we can agree on that.
She's very lovely.
That said, if folks wanted to find out more about the Aaron Cluett campaign, that's, by the way, CLUETT, right?
Yes. So if you are bored, or if you would like to donate, or if you would like to find out more about me, my web address is cluettfororegon.org, CLUETTEFOROREGON.org. Again, Cluett for Oregon, CLUETTEFOROREGON.org. And for that special listener, Cluett for Oregon, CLUETTEFOROREGON.org. Thank you so much.
See, you should have been, I think your campaign slogan should be, screw it, vote for Cluett. See?
I'll consider it.
Yeah, just, that would, see, that's a website. You would have, I want to go see this guy's website. Just saying. Just a little, if you don't win this time, next time, you might want to include that. Just saying.
I'll think about it.
It's free advice. Free advice. Anyway, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. Good luck. 844 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Investors have been waiting 5 weeks for the Wall Street rally to run out of steam, and this might be the week. The Dow and S&P are lower for a second day. The Dow down 27 points, the Nasdaq down 30, and the S&P down 6. Some analysts tell Bloomberg the markets are waiting for a clearer picture on the economy and the Fed's plans for interest rates. But it is clear that investors are not pleased with Nike's profit forecast for the coming year. The Dow stock is down nearly 4%. Sales of new homes are hot, but only in one part of the country. The Commerce Department says overall, new home sales rose 2% last month, but a glimpse at regions around the country tells us where that's coming from. Sales jumped by 38.5% in the western U.S. Everywhere else they fell, led by the Northeast, where sales were down more than 24%. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
The Oregon guard threads a pass to his big man. Slam dunk.
Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or your quality of life.
I had excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw, a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. My doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
The physicians used highly focused, precise radiation beams to target the nerve. Game over for Mary's pain in just a few weeks. If you have severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist about Gamma Knife. Visit peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
Built for business. Waiting. No one enjoys it. With Comcast Business, you can do less of it. Because Comcast Business Internet is up to 5 times faster than DSL from the phone company, which means less waiting for things like security backups and file downloads. Plus, it's a better value when you select the fastest plan. So do what nearly 1,000 businesses do every day and choose Comcast Business. Unless you'd prefer to wait. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add 1 voice line and TV for just $34.90 a month for 2 years. And ask about their low price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. That's 800-501-6000. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Are you willing to gamble your family's safety that it'll never happen to you? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Wise Food Storage provides affordable, ready-made gourmet meals with a super long 25-year shelf life. Meals like pasta Alfredo, cheesy lasagna, breakfast, dessert, drinks, and snacks. Just add water and your family is eating delicious food instead of fighting for scraps in a food riot. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal delivered right to your front door. And for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Once done, you're set for 25 years. Be wise and be ready with Wise Food Storage. Call for your free sample now. 800-775-9353. 800-775-9353. 800-775-9353.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
So if I were to say to you, yeah, you can lose weight. You can lose weight and become fit, and you don't have to eat or drink and consume bunches of eggs or get up and run 10 miles a day or even lift heavy inanimate objects. How about just sleep and get good sleep? You would probably think, okay, I'll sign up. Sleep Train has the best mattress selection anywhere. Go check it out and check out the Triple Choice sale right now where you can, there's 3. Among the 3, how about no interest for 4 years on Beautyrest Black Hybrid? That is a Sleep Train luxury exclusive. On approved credit with up to 48 equal monthly payments required in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell me like this with the wake-up call. Sleep Train.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Hey, look who's back in the studio with us. It's none other than Isaac Jackson, attorney extraordinaire.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thanks for being back with us. For folks that are not familiar with you, real quickly, what is the gist of Isaac Jackson, attorney?
Yeah, I belong in a 2-guy firm, Jackson Jones Law, and we help people deal with major car accidents, victims of crimes, drunk drivers, and things like that, and motorcycle accidents. Bill?
Okay, yeah, motorcycle accidents. I knew this was coming. How is it that motorcycle accidents in general can become legal messes? Where do you even start with that? I look at, for instance, I won't ride with groups of people. I've seen enough videos of people riding in groups that one guy, takes a corner wrong, freaks out, hits the brakes in a corner, he loses control, he goes down, and then everybody runs over him. And you see bikes falling everywhere, which is why I don't like to ride in groups.
Yeah. Bill, I ride too, and I drive in some smaller groups, and I've been in those situations. But I think that the biggest where it starts to become a legal mess is when you start to buy your insurance.
All right.
So you spend, like us riders, we spend a ton of money on our gear, on our paint job, on our bags, and our other tank bags, and we have all this stuff we're buying, right?
Right.
And then we get the cheapest insurance we can. Really, really stupid. And I mean that to everybody out there in the most heartfelt way. I hope you riders out there understand. I am not selling insurance. I don't sell insurance. My brother Zach Jackson sells insurance, but I don't sell insurance. But you need good insurance. The biggest insurance part is PIP, and it's called the Personal Injury Protection. It's the medical insurance, and it pays for your wages for a whole year. Motorcycles don't have that on there automatically. You got to ask for it, and you should get it, and you should look at what it's going to cost you.
Okay, so when we start talking about that PIP, personal injury protection, you know, what is reasonable protection? What you know, I mean, what kind of things should you be looking for in PIP?
Right. Yeah. Well, the PIP you want to get it first of all. Bikes don't have it, and you can ask for it. You can get it. You want to get that, and you want to get up to whatever's going to cover you medically. So you can get $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 just in medical coverage. The other coverage is underinsured motorist coverage. Most people that get in a motorcycle accident either get hit by other bikes that don't have great insurance, or they're a passenger on a bike that doesn't have great insurance, where that guy is at fault, or they get hit by, a lot of times, just a 25-year-old kid running a stop sign and they run into him, you know, they broadside him. That is a major problem. Those people don't have enough insurance, and typically in a motorcycle accident, you're looking at a couple broken limbs, and it's a mess, and it hurts, and you know, it hurts. I mean, I've been doing this long enough where I think twice about riding a bike, but I love riding a bike, and so I keep riding a bike, but I make sure I'm plenty insured, and so I would say you want to have $500,000 in uninsured motorist coverage.
Really?
If you are the man of the household, you know, the stereotypical man, or if you're just a wage earner at all in your household, you need to have insurance. It's the wages that really hurt a lot of these guys. They're working hourly, they break an arm, they miss 3 months of work, maybe they get demoted. They need to have insurance. You know, you don't want to go bankrupt because you're having fun on a Saturday.
How often do you actually see that happen?
I see motorcycle accidents. You know, why I'm expressing buying insurance is because I can't help you guys out there if you don't have enough insurance. Because it's a lot of these ones, a lot of the times I'm telling motorcycle riders is just go get what they have, and that's what you get. And if they had more insurance, they themselves would be protected from this underinsured driver. They, you know, so that's
so there is a type of insurance called underinsured
motorists. Yeah, we all have it. Get higher limits. What I'm saying is get $500,000. That's what I do. At least $250,000.
How much typically do these, you know, lower cost insurance plans? How much do they normally cover?
They're looking at $25,000. They're looking at $25,000. That's what most riders out there are looking at. $25,000 uninsured motorist coverage. They're driving around. They get in an accident. They break both their arms, and they get a check for $25,000, including their medicals. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah, $25,000 goes nowhere when it comes to medical bills.
Right.
All right. What other things should they be looking for if they're going over their insurance policy? You said, you know, PIP, underinsured motorists. Is there something else that folks need to be looking at?
You know, I think that's the gist of it. The other issue driving a motorcycle is, you know, a lot of times if it's someone that you love or you know, or it's a friend or it's somebody in your motorcycle club that causes the accident, a lot of the times people don't make the claim against their liability insurance. So if you and I, Bill, are out there riding out on 126 and I cause the accident, I want you to make the claim against me. But a lot of times people will feel apprehensive, like they're suing their friend, and insurance companies eat this up. They'll call you up and they'll say, hey, you don't want to sue Isaac, and you say, well, maybe I don't want to sue Isaac, and then they just close the claim. Not the proper way to deal with it. If somebody's in a major motorcycle accident, they should talk to a guy like me, even if their family is the one that caused it. We can come in and we can identify who's at fault, and we can make a claim. That's not a lawsuit, it's a claim. And it, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to take anything from them personally, but you do need to deal with insurance. So insurance companies are very sneaky in these situations, and they'll just...
You don't like insurance companies,
I
do
do.
you?
I'm selling insurance. I think you should call my brother Zach. You know, I think he's a great insurance. That's who I buy insurance from. Zach Jackson, you know. There's a plug, brother. But like, you should call him. You should call him. You should get insurance. I do like insurance, but I do not trust insurance adjusters. If you trust insurance adjusters, you're a fool.
All right, there you go. Real quickly, where can they find out more information about you and your company?
Hey, Google me, JacksonJonesLaw.com.
There you go. Isaac, always a pleasure to have you on the show. PIP and underinsured motorists. 857 News Radio, 1120 KPNW. We're out.
Sherry's invented Free Pie Wednesday because, well, we love pie. Sweet Montana cherry, Oregon Marionberry made with Northwest fruit, chocolate cream supreme, sour cream lemon pie made with real whipped cream, s'mores galore, and many more. That's why we've won over 25 gold medals at the National Pie Championships. Enjoy a free slice of your favorite Sherry's pie with dinner tonight from 4 to 10 at Sherry's Cafe and Pies.
If you're thinking about a new RV or an RV upgrade, don't make a decision without seeing what the RV Corral can do for you. At the RV Corral, serving you is at the top of their list. It all starts with their newly expanding award-winning service and parts department. Are you looking to sell or consign your RV? The RV Corral will buy your RV for cash or free consignment. High trade-in allowance too. With local owners for 28 years and all local employees, the RV Corral will be there to help you make your RV dreams come true. Easy to find on Highway 99, 1 mile south of Belline. Buy anywhere else, you'll pay too much.
With River Road Health Mart Pharmacy and their MedSync service, they're able to help you save time and money by coordinating all your prescriptions into one easy monthly pickup.
Managing all my medications didn't fit into my busy schedule, so my River Road Health Mart pharmacist coordinated all my prescriptions into one convenient pickup. Now I only have to make one trip per month. They will even deliver them to my home or work.
Visit River Road Health Mart Pharmacy at 884 River Road in Eugene today. For more information or to transfer your current prescriptions, visit online at pharmacyeugene.com. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Hurry into SM Gun Shop for March savings. 40 caliber handguns, 10% off. All other guns are $20 off. Reloading powder just in from Hodgdon, IMR, Winchester, and Alliance will stock up now. SM Gun Shop, Lane County's most established gun store on River Road in Eugene.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. There's grief, but also defiance in Belgium, as vigils are held the day after an ISIS attack. Fox News Radio's Jessica Gallagher is live in Brussels.
Lisa, hundreds of mourners continue to gather at the Place de la Bourse here in the center of Brussels. Hundreds of chalk tributes have also been scrolled along the square's concrete and buildings in solidarity. Many offer peace, love, and support, yet some are angry threats to terrorists. Belgium is observing 3 days of mourning. Brussels International Airport is expected to be closed until at least tomorrow night local time. Public transportation is limited, with only 14 of the city's metro stations open. Meanwhile, Belgium's federal prosecutor says 2 suspects in the bombing at Brussels airport have yet to be identified. One was killed in the blast and the other is at large. Lisa.
Jessica, amid heightened U.S. security and evacuation at the world's busiest airport in Atlanta. It was brief, though, a bomb squad investigating and clearing an unattended bag. President Obama is in Argentina, just beginning a joint news conference with their president. House Speaker Paul Ryan just giving a speech on the state of American politics.
It is so easy to get disheartened.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live on the Hill.
No candidates were named, but Speaker Ryan's message was clear. Political discourse must improve.
It did not used to be this bad, and it does not have to be this way.
Speaker Ryan telling a committee room here filled with congressional interns to argue over each other's ideas but not question motives.
People with different ideas, they're not traitors. They're not our enemies. They're our neighbors. They're our coworkers. They're our fellow citizens.
The lofty vision being challenged by Democrats. A spokesman for Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says Ryan's words ring hollow until he withdraws support for Donald Trump. Lisa.
Jared, thanks. Wall Street stocks are lower. The Dow down 60 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Are you living with prostate enlargement? Do you pee more often than you used to? Do you wake up to go? Be honest. Is there a drop in your romantic life? Prostate problems don't go away on their own, so you need to call for a free bottle of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 non-prescription formula for your prostate. The ingredients are natural. With Super Beta Prostate, you'll have less urges to urinate, less waking at night, and an improvement in your romantic life, guaranteed. Try it for free. Pay only shipping and handling. Call 1-800-890-2051. Super Beta Prostate is so powerful, you'd have to take 100 saw palmetto capsules to get the same active ingredient in just one Super Beta Prostate tablet. Stop running to the bathroom and call us now for your free bottle. Hurry, this free offer won't last. Call 1-800-890-2051. 1-800-890-2051. 1-800-890-2051.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
The NFL's owners have approved experimental rule changes for 2016. Among them, any player flagged for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct fouls in a game will be automatically ejected. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
Well, we've had points of emphasis in the past through the competition committee. They need teeth. And this was a rule that brought teeth to that. It brought an opportunity for the rules to reflect the emphasis that I think everybody in the membership feels. And sportsmanship's important to us. It's important to our players. It's important to our teams, and it's important to our fans.
Another key change for 2016, touchbacks will now be brought out to the 25-yard line rather than their current 20-yard line. And again, both of these changes are just for 2016. If they are successful, obviously, they will be voted on for permanency in the rule book. The LA Rams will be the participating team for the upcoming Hard Knocks.
Hi, this is Bill London, and I can tell you from experience, dealing with a realtor can be a trying experience. Trying to sell my mom and dad's house recently, I would have liked to have had a realtor who up front would have told me not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. Like, for instance, that we really did need to put a new roof on the house. Otherwise, we were going to get beaten down on the price and some other things as well. Well, Eric Harpole is one of those realtors. He won't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear to get the most out of your house.
I think when you sit down with Eric or anybody from his team, it's quickly apparent. I mean, they're serious. They know real estate, and they're not into filling the air with things that aren't true. Whether you're buying or selling or even thinking about doing either of those two, call the Harpole team at 541-286-3030. It will be the most refreshing conversation you ever had with a realtor. The Harpole Real Estate Group is changing the way real estate gets done here locally. 541-286-3030.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers more than 100 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 100 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now. 1-800-900-4116.
I had no idea. I just noticed Obama's in Argentina. When did he leave Cuba?
Is lightweight,
I thought the last we knew he was at a baseball game in Cuba.
And it's practically invisible. Call for your
in Argentina,
100%
so
free home trial.
Okay, so
with free shipping and
what do
free
we do?
Batteries for life.
Got to apologize for something down there, right?
I'll 1-800-900-4116.
I'll bet he's going to apologize because
That's
we overdrew
1-800-900-4116. 1-800-900-4116.
What do we do to Argentina? We had to do somebody. Maybe didn't export Madonna there.
On News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Greetings, my friends. Great to have you, Rush Limbaugh. What is this already? This is Wednesday. This is unbelievable. Fastest week in media. Great to have you here. Telephone number is 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program, and the email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. Well, guess what has happened? Ted Cruz has become the focus of the Republican campaign today. It is stunning how these things happen. And in no particular order, somebody ran an ad that included a picture of Trump's wife, Melania, nearly nude from 15 years ago in a GQ. It's from a GQ, a Gentleman's Quarterly photo spread. And Trump didn't like it. So he tweeted, "Lion Ted, you better be careful or I'm going to spill the beans on Heidi." And everybody says, what are the beans on Heidi? What beans are there on Heidi Cruz that Trump could possibly spill? Well, then Trump responded, "Hey, real Donald Trump, I had nothing to do with that ad. We had nothing to do with that ad. Be careful, stay away from Heidi. She rings around you, whatever." In fact, you've got to hear this. Let me get the actual tweet here, if I have it here. Lion Ted just used a picture of Melania from a GQ shoot in his ad. "Be careful, Lion Ted, or I will spill the beans on your wife." And Cruz, well, I don't have Cruz's response tweet here, but it was along the line, "Be careful, you don't want to tangle with Heidi." And you've got to hear how CNN reacted to this. Grab soundbite number one. This was on CNN this morning around an hour and 40 minutes ago. Carol Costello plays a clip from earlier with Cruz. And I want you to listen to how she reacts to this. She plays the clip of Cruz and then she reacts.
Last night, Donald threatened my wife. He went directly after my wife. And I got to tell you that, number one, Heidi, my wife, she's the daughter of missionaries in Africa. She is my best friend in the world. And if Donald wants to get in a character fight, he's better off sticking with me because Heidi is way out of his league.
I'll stand up for my little woman. Thoughts?
I'll stand up for my little woman. Carol Costello, I'll stand up for my little woman. Mocking it. Mocking a man defending his wife against an attack from Donald Trump. Now, in what world does that happen? What, are you not supposed to defend your wife anymore? Is that the new feminism? Are you not supposed to defend women? Are you supposed to let them go ahead and be ridiculed and threatened? Are you supposed to let them be defamed? Are they just on their own out there? Or is it that when Ted Cruz, who they hate, who they don't like, if anybody threatens anybody, it's Ted Cruz threatening these people. These people all think Ted Cruz is going to put them in the morality prison. That's what they're afraid of. And so, in that context, well, I'll stand up for my little woman. And then she runs around the table and asks for thoughts, and nobody reacted to that clip the way she wanted. She had David Rodham-Gergen and some other woman whose name I don't remember, and neither of them commented on what Carol Costello asked. Whoa, well, I'll stand up for my little woman. You're not in her league either, Carol, just for everybody to know. Anyway, it turns out that the original tweet, or the ad, that featured Melania Trump, nearly nude, from a 15-year-old photo shoot in GQ, was actually placed by a PAC, a political action committee called Make America Awesome. And a woman runs that PAC. Her name is Liz Mayer. And it has been fascinating to me to read all the reaction to this today. There's some people on the right who can't believe Liz Mayer would stoop to such a thing. Can't believe it. Anybody on the right would stoop to such a cheap gutter-type ad, even if it is about Trump, who many on the right think is already in the gutter, meaning Trump. And it's just all the hand-wringing. I can't believe we would stoop to this level. I can't believe this would happen. And of course, the ad that this PAC ran is being characterized as slut-shaming. Do you know what that is? Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory. And so that's another reason some on the right don't like it, because they think it's slut-shaming. And so Liz Mayer says, no, I hate that word. I hate that word in any context. That's not what we're doing here. We were trying to alert Mormons to vote for Ted Cruz. We wanted Mormons in Utah to know certain things about Trump and his wife. But it does break some taboos, children, wives, off with Melania. She really hasn't put her out there herself out there. She's done a couple of interviews. But it just goes to show how volatile the whole campaign is. I've got 2 different stories, maybe 3 today, on how the campaign is already over. One from Politico, from a liberal Democrat who thinks it's over. Actually, there's 3. Jonah Goldberg, National Review, who thinks it's over no matter what happens. The GOP is destroyed. It's over whether Trump gets a nomination or if Trump doesn't get the nomination. We're finished. It's over. Another person said this campaign ended last October and it's over. It's for the Democrats. Hillary has been the winner since last October. And then there are others, one other who thinks it's still wide open and a possibility. The fatalism that's out there is just overwhelming. And here we're still in March. We haven't even gotten to April yet. And the fatalism that has infected many on the Republican/right. Oh, by the way, I've had a couple of people send me snarky emails. You know what? Everything you told us about Rule 40, you were wrong. You were wrong. It doesn't apply to this convention. I said, go back and listen to what I said. Rule 40, convention. Republican National Convention rules. Rule 40 was written, I said, for the 2012 convention. And it was designed to prevent people like Rand Paul from making an end run against Romney in the 2012 convention. But it still stands. And what Rule 40 essentially says is that nobody can be made the Republican nominee unless they have won a majority of delegates in a minimum of 8 states. Well, that leaves only Trump and Cruz. It disqualifies Kasich. It disqualifies everybody else. It disqualifies whoever they would come up with in a contested convention, which I've known all along, which is why I said they're going to meet in April and rewrite this. And I said further, they can meet the day before the convention and rewrite the rules. But if Rule 40, I think it's 40 parentheses B, if it doesn't change, then it can't be. But of course it will change. They're going to change it to whatever. I got another story here that says Paul Ryan, in his speech to AIPAC, made it clear that he's running for president. His speech to AIPAC was his first attempt at getting delegates from Florida. Kid you not. It's the variety, the scattershot, the shotgun element here of commentary. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody can analyze it. Nobody can explain it. And people are unable to keep their emotions out of it. On the Republican right, you've got fatalists and defeatists writing that it's all over. On the left, you have people beating their chests, celebrating that it's all over, that nothing can stop Hillary. On the right, you've got people that don't think it's all over, but they're worried about Trump. The worry, the negativism, the pessimism that's out there is just overwhelming. I guess it's natural. I mean, I think, sadly, pessimism is more a natural state in the human condition than optimism is. Pessimism doesn't take any effort. Optimism does. And that's why there's always far more pessimism out there than there is optimism. The number of people that are natural optimists, you ever notice how many people suspicious of those people? Natural optimists, it is said there has to be something wrong with them. How can you be an optimist in the mess that we call the world today? How can you be an optimist when you look around the country, when you watch the evening news? How in the world can you be an optimist? Some people claim to naturally be, but pessimism seems to be the order of the day, and that's how you cater to people, by the way. You play on their pessimism. You amplify it. You acknowledge it. You let them know that you, too, understand that you're pessimistic, but you have the solution. Which takes us to the news of the day, and that's Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is all over the news for two reasons. One is that ad attacking Melania that claims everybody thought came from him, but it didn't. That has created its own universe. But Cruz said something else. He said that the police need to patrol and secure Muslim neighborhoods, and you would have thought that somebody has suggested impeaching Obama. The reaction to this is overwhelming. People can't believe he would say such a thing, and they've gone and talked to experts, cops, commissioners, law enforcement people here and there to ask what they think of Ted Cruz suggesting that the police need to start patrolling and securing Muslim neighborhoods. And the amount of fear of the very idea of doing this. There are so many people who are shouting disagreement with Cruz because they don't want the jihadis to target them. And Trump, meanwhile, is saying that we need to start thinking about using torture to stop some of this stuff. So that's going to be our starting point. We're going to take a brief time out. I want to come back and replay a response I gave to a young caller. I think it was Friday. 14-year-old, pro-Cruz. The kid was pessimistic himself. And he asked me if I thought that Cruz could still win. And we'll replay what I said and then get started with all the rest of this when we get back. Don't go away.
America's Anchorman, Rush, on the EIB Network.
We can all agree that everybody can use better sleep, more quality sleep. Sleep's crucial to bringing your best to every situation. That's why I'm such a fan of Boll & Branch luxury sheets. Everything Boll & Branch makes, from bedding to blankets, is made from 100% organic cotton. And they don't mess around with middlemen, so you're essentially paying wholesale prices. These are $1,000 sheets, folks, for just a couple $100. Find out for yourself why 3 former U.S. presidents sleep on Boll & Branch sheets. Shipping is free. You can try out their sheets for 30 nights. And if you don't love them, you can send them back for a refund. But I doubt that you'll want to send them back. Not only all that, you get 20% off your entire order at bollandbranch.com just by using promo code RUSH. That's BOLL and branch. bollandbranch.com. Remember the promo code RUSH. It's bollandbranch.com for the best sheets you have ever used.
Hi, I'm Kyle Cox, founder and owner of Blindster.com. At Blindster.com, we've sold millions of blinds to hundreds of thousands of satisfied customers since 2010. Many people think it's easier and less expensive to buy blinds from a home improvement warehouse.
We needed new blinds, so I measured my windows and my husband and I went to a store nearby. We bought some faux wood blinds right off the shelf, but when we installed them, they didn't quite fit our windows. Thankfully, I found Blindster.com. I could not believe the prices. They had custom-made blinds for less than I paid for ready-made blinds. I placed an order and my blinds arrived less than 2 weeks later. The installation was easy and they fit perfectly. I couldn't be happier.
Many people make the same mistake. Save money and have peace of mind, because Blindster guarantees your blinds will fit, even if you make a mistake in measuring.
Right now, all Rush listeners receive 30% off any order. Just use the code RUSH at checkout. Visit Blindster.com today. That's BLINDSTER.com. Blindster.com.
Get set to save now at your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care tasks with the new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now, during the Get Set to Save sales event, get special introductory pricing of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Now through March 31st, 2016. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99. Great prices, great products from people you can trust.
If you need to sell your home, listen up. Lars here to tell you about a real estate agent right in Lane County that takes the stress out of selling a home. I'm talking about Jeremy Parmenter of Keller Williams Realty. Jeremy has a marketing system for selling homes on a whole different level than anyone you're going to talk to in Lane County. Jeremy works with the top real estate developer in Oregon, and week after week, Jeremy attracts hundreds of buyers, which creates demand and helps your home sell fast and for top dollar. That's why Jeremy offers there's a home sale guarantee. If Jeremy can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agreed to, he'll buy it. Plus, it's risk-free. If he isn't doing his job after one day, you can fire him. But don't worry, you won't, because he outsells the average agent 8-1. If I needed to sell my home and lived in Lane County, I'd call up Jeremy. Call Jeremy today at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. And start packing.
Hurry into SM Gun Shop for March savings. 40 caliber handguns, 10% off. All other guns are $20 off. Reloading powder just in from Hodgdon, IMR, Winchester, and Alliance will stock up now. SM Gun Shop, Lane County's most established gun store on River Road in Eugene.
Sun Automotive is proud to sponsor the Northwest edition of Lars Larson. Sun Automotive with locations in Eugene and Springfield reminds you, stay safe on the road, keep your car well maintained, and don't text and drive. Sun Automotive.
With news every 30 minutes, Bloomberg Market Reports every hour, and Rush Limbaugh Now, we are 1120 KPNW.
Back on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, we had a young caller who wanted to know if it was over. He's a Cruz supporter. He's from Texas, 14 years old, and asked me if Cruz still had a chance. This is what I told him. The fact that Ted Cruz is in second place is astounding. Ted Cruz has been ignored from the first day of this campaign. Ted Cruz is in second place. He has been given no time by the drive-by media. He has been shown no respect. They have not treated him as a viable candidate. He has been hammered over and over by every other candidate. One way or another, Ted Cruz has been lambasted. He is very rarely given a chance to rebut the things that are said about him. He is routinely one of the speakers at each debate that speaks the least. There's some exceptions in some debates, but for the most part, he's among the least. He is hated by the establishment, and they are the ones that totally ignore him. The party has not lifted a finger to help him, and even now when they are starting to, they make it known that they're not happy to be doing it. He is being dwarfed and swamped by unprecedented coverage of Trump, who hasn't had to spend any money to get it. Ted Cruz has raised money left and right. There are all kinds of people giving money to Ted Cruz, and nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to talk about Ted Cruz. We are told over and over that everybody in the Senate hates him. We're told over and over everybody in Washington hates him, but yet he's in second place, and he's won 9 states. So you're asking me if I think Ted Cruz can win? Yeah, I do. I don't think it's anywhere near over yet. Everybody wants you to believe that it is. Everybody wants you to believe one of two things. It's over, Cruz is not going to get there, Trump is, or we're going to go to a contested convention, and it's going to be between Kasich and whoever else the establishment can throw up. It still amazes me. You have the establishment types with their secret dinner meetings like last night here in Palm Beach, trying to figure out how to game the convention so that one of theirs can get the nomination. Then you have these conservatives who are plotting, trying to come up with a third-party candidate. And here again, nobody's talking about Ted Cruz. And he's there every day. And he's out campaigning, he's going everywhere, and he is in second place despite all of the obstacles that have been put in his way. So I think he can. In any number of ways. Long shot, yeah, but still I think it's a major achievement given the odds that have been stacked against him, which, hey, I'm not complaining about them, I'm just pointing them out. Nothing is guaranteed. I'm not crying about anything here. I'm just laying things out as I believe they've happened. Today, Jeb Bush did endorse Ted Cruz, and he's not the first. And I made a point earlier in the week that if some of these establishment guys start endorsing Cruz, is it going to actually be helpful? Are these the kind of people he wants endorsing him? These are the people he's been running against, for example, the establishment. But, you know, things are fluid, and we're getting down to the end of this in terms of time to pull it out. And unity is what has to happen here. One way or the other, there has to be some kind of unity. if the Democrats are going to be defeated in November. And I don't know how the unity would manifest itself yet, but there has to be some. So this could be an indication of it. Jeb alone probably is not a significant thing in terms of bringing support to Cruz. He had 4 delegates and that kind of thing. But at this point, everything like this matters and it adds up. So we see where it plays out. It's a long shot. Cruz, as predicted, won Utah last night. Trump won Arizona, and there were more delegates at stake in Arizona. So Trump had a net delegate gain last night, despite Trump winning Arizona and Cruz sweeping Utah. And, of course, John Kasich is still out there. Another round of George Soros money has been donated to Governor Kasich. This is the second installment now, which puts him up over $200,000 that Soros-related PACs have contributed to Kasich, who literally has no chance. He has no mathematical chance whatsoever of securing the nomination. Yet he runs around talking about that as though he does, and as though it's a reality. Now to Ted Cruz, this is CNN. Cruz on Tuesday called for law enforcement to step up their policing of Muslim neighborhoods in America in the wake of terror attacks in Brussels, comparing it to police boosting their presence in areas with known gang activity. You have a neighborhood where there's a high level of gang activity. The way to prevent it is you increase law enforcement presence there and you target the gang members to get them off the streets. Cruz said this to Anderson Cooper 345 on CNN. He said, I'm talking about any area where there's a higher incidence of radical Islamic terrorism. Cruz pointed to what he called a successful program in New York implemented by Mayor Doomberg, apparently pointing to the New York Police Department's controversial surveillance efforts targeting Muslims under his administration. J. Peter Donald, Communications for the New York Police Department, described Cruz's comments, quote, an incendiary, foolish statement. He tweeted, hey, Ted Cruz, are our nearly 1,000 Muslim officers a threat too? It's hard to imagine a more incendiary, foolish statement. Hillary Clinton got in on it. Everybody has gotten in on ramming Ted Cruz on this, and we will continue with it when we get back.
From the KPNW News Center, here's what's going on. There were 2 University of Oregon students studying abroad in Belgium, and as of yesterday, they were accounted for and safe after the terror attack that killed at least 34 people and injured dozens more. OSU says, according to their records, they do not have any students in Belgium. Eugene airport officials say they're exercising heightened vigilance along with many other airports around the country. The Port of Portland police say they've heightened security and are looking for anything suspicious. Understandably, plan for even more time at the airport if you're checking into a flight. Biologists are testing marine life found on half a boat that washed ashore on the Oregon coast just north of Coos Bay.
Biologists will be looking for algae and animals attached that could either be potentially invasive, but would also give some clue as to its origin.
Chris Havel with the Oregon State Parks Department says those tests will determine whether it came from the Japanese Tsunami. A salvage company will be removing the boat. Bill London, KPNW.
Turn the clock back and engage your imagination as Radio Redux reprises radio days of yesteryear. Performing at the Holt Center on April 8th and 10th, Radio Redux turns its critically acclaimed retro-modern radio storytelling talents loose on the hit comedy It Happened One Night. Get in on the fun of this madcap road trip romance between a spoiled socialite and a roguish reporter. Lots of laughs in Radio Redux's stage version of the Oscar-winning film. It Happened One Night at the Holt Center on April 8th and 10th. Get your tickets today.
Like the X-Files, Thirsty Thursdays have returned. I'm Bill London of the KPNW Wake-Up Call. Join me from 4 to 7 this Thursday at Sam's on Franklin. Thirsty Thursday is about tasting some great Widmer craft brews and sampling other great Northwest beers. We'll have prizes, including tickets to see James Taylor, free eats from Burrito Amigos, Northwest Burgers, and more, and other fun things. It's this Thursday, 4 to 7. Let's hoist a stein and act like men unless you're a woman, and you're still invited. At Sam's on Franklin, I'm Bill London, and I approve this message.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference. Not $1 billion, but I do want to be able to save for the future. So this year I partnered with TIAA to help me map out what I should be doing. Together, we came up with a personalized plan for my finances. And now it seems like a life of rewarding work just might pay off for a lifetime.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
How long would you wait for your shower to get hot? How long would you wait for your cell phone to fully charge? How long would you wait to get relief from your nasal congestion? If you're congested now and you want powerful relief now, use Afrin No Drip. Afrin starts working in seconds and keeps working for 12 hours. So, why wait? When you can start to get relief in seconds with Afrin. Afrin, powerful congestion relief without the wait. Use as directed. For more information, go to afrin.com.
Oh no, this can't be happening.
Sorry, it's happening. You took that curve way too fast.
Who are you?
I'm Regret. It's nice to meet you. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Where are you?
In your head. And everywhere, really.
Why is everything in slow motion?
I'm not sure. A trick of the mind? You're not going to make it out of this one unscathed. I'm really sorry.
I'll go back and slow down. Can I do that?
I wish you could, but you were going so fast you had no reaction time. This isn't going to end well, Mark. The windshield is shattering. This might hurt.
Oh no, please don't leave me.
I won't. I'll be with you for a long time.
Your car may be built for speed, but the human body is not. It's simple. The faster you go, the harder you crash, and the greater the injury. So stick with the speed limit and avoid regret. Slow down. It's the way to go. A message from ODOT.
Depend on us. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
One of my all-time favorite Isley Brother tunes here, Fight the Power. Rudolph Isley on the tambourines in his tune. Rudolph was a big one. Rudolph Isley. Ronald Isley was the lead singer, did some duets out there with Rod Stewart. No sooner do I make a joke about it than it happens this afternoon in Buenos Aires, Argentina. President Barack Obama and a joint press conference with Argentinian President Mauricio Macri. And listen to this.
This week marks the 40th anniversary of the military coup, and tomorrow, to underscore our shared commitment to human rights, I'll visit a memorial to the victims of the Argentinian military dictatorship and recognize Argentina's historic and continuing efforts to make things right. To prove that this is more than just a symbolic gesture on my part, I'm launching a new effort to open up additional documents from that dark period. For the first time now, we'll declassify military and intelligence records as well on this anniversary and beyond. I hope this gesture also helps to rebuild trust that may have been lost between our two countries.
See, we were keeping secrets. We had secret records. We were keeping secret records, probably intelligence data about Argentina and a military coup. And Obama has essentially said, you know what? We're sorry. We're going to open up these secret documents. We're going to release these secret documents to you so that you can see what a bunch of reprobates all of my predecessors have been toward you. Which, make no mistake, is one of the purposes here. Yes, so you Argentinians can see how much better I am as president than some of these heathens that served in the office before I came along. Okay, back to Ted Cruz. Just had to play that bite for you. I just saw there's a caller online calling me delusional. Let me read what this is about. Russia delusional. You know, Cruz is not every minute you have a behind him. Says a Trump supporter. You don't know? Well, let me take it. Let me just take it. Is the guy ready to go? Have you finished the screening process? You got his social security number? Okay. Clay in Lansing, Michigan. Greetings, sir. I'm sure you didn't expect to get on the phone this soon, but here we are. What's up?
No, Rush. After 25 years of listening to you, I never thought I would get on this fast.
Thank you for 25 years. I've been listening to you every day.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I think, sadly, what you all fail to realize is that perpetually you're painting Ted Cruz as an outsider. He paints Ted Cruz as an outsider. The Tea Party tried to paint him as an outsider. Yet I'm going to read you 5 names. Lindsey Graham, Mitt Romney, Jeb, exclamation point, Bush, Nikki Haley. How much more insider can you get than this? Okay? The establishment is going to destroy Ted Cruz from within, and then the Tea Party is going to back its bus right over his head if he ain't careful.
Okay, run that last thing by me again. What was it you just said? The establishment's going to destroy Cruz from within? Is that what you said?
The establishment's going to destroy him within because he's buddying up to these people, and the Tea Party hates every single one of them. What is Cruz doing? I know he wants to be the last man standing against Trump, but the point is he's destroying his credibility. When Cruz first announced, I'm like, yep,
wait, hold it just a second. Now, there's a mouthful here. First, I need to know, are you for Cruz, or are you for Trump, or are you for Kasich?
I was originally for Cruz. I am definitely for Trump.
Okay. You were thinking about Cruz at one point, but now you're for Trump. Okay.
Sure. When Cruz first announced, I was all on board with Cruz.
Right. But then Trump came along and just electrified everything, and that swept you up. I understand that. Now, these endorsements, you realize what these people are trying to do.
They're trying to save money to keep them alive.
They're trying to save themselves. They're wrapped up in the success of the party. Cruz is, whatever else he is a Republican. There's nowhere else for these people to go. Cruz is their last gasp, and they are not happy having to do it. Lindsey Graham said so. When he endorsed Cruz, he actually started singing the praise of Kasich. This does not mean that Cruz is an insider. This does not mean that Cruz doesn't mean what he's talking about. This doesn't mean that Cruz all of a sudden is a new best friend of Mitch McConnell.
No, but it's hypocrisy in action right there. If you are outsider truly, ditch the pack, Ted. Run as an outsider on your own money. Put your big money where your big mouth is, and run it like Trump is doing.
You were never. I refuse to believe that you were a Cruz supporter. Original Cruz supporter wouldn't be speaking of him in this manner as you are.
Sure, I campaigned for the man on the Tea Party.
Yeah, but now put your big mouth where your big money is, or put your money where your big mouth is, and get rid of your PAC and fund yourself. He doesn't have that kind of money.
No, but Trump does, and that's why he's bigger than the establishment and bigger than the media. Right. He can dictate and take the message right to the masses who are tired. That's
all well and good, but none of that says that Cruz isn't who he is. You're essentially saying that Cruz was all fine and dandy until these establishment rubes started moving in and started endorsing him, and that means the establishment is going to try to take over when Cruz wins or if he wins or whatever. This is the same stuff that happened with Reagan. I have to tell you, Clay, it's the exact same stuff that happened with Reagan. They didn't like Reagan in 76. They didn't like Reagan in 1980. They tried to stop Reagan in both campaigns. When Reagan won in 1980, they had no choice. And then when Reagan proved to be 2 landslides popular, all of those people that supposedly hated him couldn't wait to be standing next to him every time a photo was taken. They were the hypocrites, not Reagan. And Cruz is not the hypocrite here. What's he supposed to do? Stand up and say, sorry, Governor Bush, but I don't believe you. I don't believe you really want me to win. So I would appreciate it if you would endorse someone. Is that what you want him to do, Clay?
You say that because Trump says it. Trump says it. He denounces his endorsements that he doesn't want. He doesn't need them. He needs the votes. So he takes the message to the masses, not to the establishment. The establishment will destroy Ted Cruz from.
Let me ask you a question, just a hypothetical question, and I'm not predicting it by any stretch. I just want to know what happens to you, your support. What are you going to do if somehow Trump does not get the nomination?
If Trump does not get the nomination, I would most likely go and pull the R lever for Cruz, and I know I would lose. Cruz will not win one state north of the Mason-Dixon line.
And you think Trump can?
He will not pull one Democrat vote, Rush. Not one.
And you think Trump can win?
Trump is already getting 30% of it. I'm on the ground game here in Michigan. I've watched it happen.
I know, but have you happened to notice all of these so-called Republicans promising to either sit out or vote for Hillary if Cruz is in those 30% he's bringing in? Some of them could be canceled out by these spoil sports deciding to vote Hillary or stay home.
Rush, I initially thought that myself. Never in my life in 6 campaigns have I ever worked alongside Teamsters, Democrats, truckers, people that have never considered buying what Romney was wanting to sell or McCain wanted to sell or Bush wanted to sell. They'd hang up on me. They will talk to me with Trump because he takes the message right to the American people. And you know what? They are sick and tired. He's running as an American, Rush.
I know
that. I don't know, but
Clay, wait a minute. I know why Trump's working. I know why people support Trump. I'm the guy telling everybody why. I'm asking a specific question here. Sure. You have to be aware, whether they mean it or not, there's a bunch of spoiled sports on the Republican side. I mean, you talk about hypocrites. They're openly trying to find somebody other than Trump or Cruz, and if they don't find some, they're claiming they'll vote for Hillary. I talked to a guy last night who is in the so-called conservative movement, who deals with a young conservative media types, and he told me they all hate Trump. It's horrible. They're all talking about voting for Hillary. And he said all these Democrats Trump's bringing in, I'm worried how many people on the Republican side they cancel out by not voting. I think a lot of it's just talk right now.
It is definitely talk. You honestly trust the media, Rush? I mean, seriously. They will tell you anything to keep a story alive. Okay? You have got to see it on the ground to believe it.
When did I just... I didn't even mention media here. I talked to a guy who has a lot of friends who are in the quote-unquote conservative media. It's not talking about the mainstream media here. And he's telling me it's driving him crazy how obstinate and single-minded and stupid they are. They hate Trump. They despise Trump because they think they should. They're young, aspiring conservatives. They all want to be David Brooks. They all want to be Bill Kristol. They all want to be, they want to get a book deal, a Fox News gig, and maybe a Saturday New York Times column. So they do whatever they think they have to do to get that. And part of doing what they have to do to get that right now is make everybody know they don't like Trump. And they claim to be conservative. This is not a media thing. This is not the New York Post or the New York Times or Washington Post telling me this. My only point to you, the only question is, I'm the guy who pointed out that Trump's bringing Democrats in. That isn't news. I'm the guy that pointed out that Trump's coalition happens to be exactly what the Republican Party has always claimed it needed and wanted in order to be able to win the White House. Now that Trump's the one putting it together, they don't seem to be interested. But on the other side of this, my question is, all those Democrats, what happens if those numbers are canceled out by a similar number of Republicans who hate Trump, either not voting or voting for Hillary? There's no answer to the question. I'm just pausing. As I say, that's now. This is March, not even April. And a lot of people have their noses out of joint. Folks, you just have no idea. Despite my best efforts to try to convey to you the emotions and the thinking of the people I'm talking about. These are people, in many cases, whose their own self-esteem, their self-worth, the things they tell themselves every night to reassure themselves how great they are, how important they are, they tell themselves that they are crucially important to the outcome of events. They shape opinion in their minds. And they are facing a hard, cold reality here with the existence of Trump in the campaign. They have, from the first moment Trump got in the race, maligned him, impugned him, ripped him, criticized him, mocked him. They've done it on TV. They've written about it, and it hasn't mattered. They haven't been able to stop Trump, and they are questioning their own self-worth. They don't want to do this. They do not want to think of themselves as irrelevant or ineffective. And because they're facing that reality, their anger is multiplying at Trump. Well, I guess what I'm saying is you don't realize how personal this is to a lot of people who have devoted their lives to thinking that they matter when it comes to shaping public opinion, influencing public opinion, defining certain things such as intellectual conservatism. Or, if it's not intellectual conservatism, defining what it is to be a good moderate, or defining what it is to be whatever it is. There's a lot of people here shaking, and those are the people, not all of it, but many of the people. I'm voting for Hillary. Would never vote for Trump. I couldn't possibly. I'm staying home. Those are people. Well, I'm telling you, this is affecting them personally. Anyway, so it's not media. It's not the usual suspects here. Anyway, I got to take a break. I'm way long here, folks. This seems to be the case.
They used to get away with it, but not anymore. Thanks to Rush and the EIB network.
Did you know identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in America? If you have a friend or family member who's had their identity stolen, you know the word hassle is probably not strong enough to describe their experience. Just imagine someone having your personal information, your name, your social security number, or your credit card number, and then using that information to pretend they are you, using your good name and your good credit to buy things, take out loans, even drain your bank accounts or liquidate your retirement savings. And identity theft doesn't just happen to people like me or you. It can also affect our kids, our parents, and other people we love and care about. Anyone with a social security number is at risk for identity theft. And think about this, when your identity is stolen, you can have the burden of proving you are you. Imagine that, having to prove to creditors, your bank, or even government organizations that you are not the person who made the charges or transactions in your name. Hassle, hassle, hassle. Now, maybe you think you're protected from all of this because you have free credit monitoring. Yes, free credit monitoring can tell you if your credit score has changed, so it can point out a problem. But what about working to fix an identity theft problem? Who's going to help you with that? Well, there is an answer, a really smart answer. It's LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock helps watch for identity threats, and if there's ever an issue, they'll work to resolve it, with their US-based team helping you from start to finish. How do I know? Because I'm a LifeLock member, and you should be too. Now, of course, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can help take the hassle out of identity theft problems, with memberships starting as low as $9.99 a month plus applicable sales tax. For less than the cost of lunch, you can get help protecting your identity. Call or visit lifelock.com now to experience the LifeLock identity protection that free credit monitoring can't give you. Use promo code RUSH. That's promo code RUSH to receive 10% off your membership. Or call 800-440-4833. 800-440-4833. 800-440-4833.
Sherry's invented Free Pie Wednesday because, well, we love pie. Sweet Montana cherry, Oregon Marionberry made with Northwest fruit, chocolate cream supreme, sour cream lemon pie made with real whipped cream, s'mores galore, and many more. That's why we've won over 25 gold medals at the National Pie Championships. Enjoy a free slice of your favorite Sherry's pie with dinner tonight from 4 to 10 at Sherry's Cafe and Pies.
If just one step could change the future of diabetes, why wouldn't you step out? Join us at Step Out, Walk to Stop Diabetes. Bring your friends, family, and coworkers to walk with thousands of people across the country and help us make a difference. Together we can stop diabetes. Register today at diabetes.org/stepout or call 1-888-DIABETES. Let's change the future, one step at a time.
You're listening to Rush Limbaugh Now. Tonight at 8, it's Alex Jones. Only on 1120 KPNW.
You know, this endorsement business, folks. You know, I don't remember Trump chasing away his endorsement. Putin endorsed Trump. I don't remember Trump saying, I don't want your endorsement. I remember Trump saying he was honored. When Christie endorsed Trump, I don't remember. I mean, do you think Cruz wants Christie's endorsement? But this business of endorse, you don't control who endorses you, and it doesn't mean that you owe anybody when they endorse you. These endorsements, folks, these are all, everything's personal now. On the Republican side, And what I mean by personal, there are people. Have you ever thought you're going to lose your job? You ever thought you're going to be fired? For whatever reason, justified or not. Have you ever had a job you really like or something you really like and it was going to be taken away from you? And the events making that happen are beyond your control? But yet you think you can control. That's what these guys are facing here, many of these Republicans. They're not endorsing Cruz because they're endorsing Cruz. They're endorsing Cruz because they're trying to save themselves by having somebody beat Trump, by somebody that can win and save the party. It's a sign of how desperate they've become, because in the real world, we know that if given first, second, third choice, Cruz probably would not be who they would endorse. It wasn't. All these people have endorsed other people first. Nikki Haley, Lindsey Graham, some of them. So I'm sorry, folks. It's fascinating to watch all this, and I don't mean that in a lofty, uppity way. And it just, to me, this stuff fascinates me. Human nature, to watch people behave, figure out why, to be able to detect sincerity and insincerity and so forth, and be able to apply it. But it's actually, it's more than fascinating. Now, I don't have time for a phone call here. The soundbite is, listen to this montage. This will set up what's coming. A quick montage of the media savaging Cruz over his suggestion that cops patrol Muslim neighborhoods.
How would you define a Muslim neighborhood? Is there a certain percentage of Muslims that have to live there? Do you have to have any particular suspicion that they're being radicalized? Or is it just the mere fact that they're Muslims?
You don't want to paint with too broad a brush and blame an entire faith for the acts of the worst among them. And that's why there's criticism about policing Muslim communities as if they were all an enemy.
People had a problem with that. Patrol and secure Muslim neighborhoods, as if saying all Muslims are radical.
How is targeting Muslim neighborhoods constitutional?
How many Muslims are in America? 3 million Muslims in America. Law enforcement is overwhelmed. It's impractical what you're suggesting. Name one community, one city.
Your comments are decidedly anti-Muslim. You're playing right into the hands of ISIS.
As Cruz was on every morning show today, and those are sound bites of drive-by media people either preaching to him, lecturing him, or asking him questions. So you can see it didn't go over too well with the drive-bys. And it didn't go over well with Hillary either. So back in a second.
Doing the work that the mainstream American media just won't do. Rush on the EIB network.
Are you paying attention to crime rates across our nation? They're not going down. So protect your family with Simply Safe. It's the home security I trust. This is fantastic, reliable protection. 24/7 professional monitoring. That's only $14.99 a month. Other companies charge 3 times as much. And there are no long-term contracts. Visit simplysafeusa.com right now and you'll get 10% off. That's simplysafeusa.com.
FN handguns bear the DNA of legends, of John Browning, the father of modern firearms, of the artisans and craftsmen who brought his genius to life, of the brave souls who defended our freedom on the front lines for the last 100 years, and the brave souls who defend it on the home front today. FN handguns, the DNA of legends in the palm of your hand. Ask for FN, the world's most battle-proven firearms.
Pop quiz for all business owners. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, which one of these can you lose? Your home, your car, or your life savings? The answer? All 3. Because if you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too. Which means you could lose everything. Once business owners realize the risk of not being incorporated, they usually scramble to incorporate or form an LLC. To make it quick and easy, Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. For your free 10-minute incorporation guide, call now, 1-800-400-5017. Protect your financial future. At Incorporate.com, they don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. 1-800-400-5017. Hurry while supplies last. 1-800-400-5017. That's 1-800-400-5017.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-992-2821.